to make it to tomorrow. DARKZERO, the favorites on social media, but the crowd here seems to be behind Wildcard. Will there be any difference? Do we think it's enough? Who has the edge on map 1 of Clubhouse?
Parker, it's going to all come down to what gets shown in the server. This is a map these two teams have played many times before, and as we jump into the operator bans, we know what to expect. Kaid and Bandit, the most commonly banned operators here for the defense. A Capitao starts for the offense. Mint, what are we expecting out of these op bans?
I mean, yeah, 100% it should be a Kaid Bandit ban or a Mirror ban. You're usually going to be targeting the wall denial. Let's see what's going to get put out here. So there is that Bandit and there is that Ace. So we are going to see the Mirror on the wall, but Habana is up. So, I mean, they should have no problem getting the walls open.
Are you a fan of Bikini Body?
I did see that tweet. Are you referencing
You
that
didn't
tweet?
answer.
Yeah, I did not answer. I let that go. I think they were talking about rank mainly.
He did talk about this Kaid Bandit ban. We know that there is a casual aspect of this community who watches these shows brought about by all of the co-streamers here. And in fact, we've actually ripped you away from your co-streaming machine to join us.
So sad. I mean, shout out to George and Macy holding down the fort.
We'll get things set up here on the very first round. Man, what's your expectation here? You know ball. We're not going to ask you to make a prediction, but if you had to, first question, do you think we go all 3 maps?
I'd like to say we do. I'd like to say we're going to get a really good game between these two, that Baby Shark is going to show up, hot and cold, the underdog story, we're going to pull her through, but you know, I'm expecting a quick little 2-0 for Wildcard, man.
2-0 for Wildcard?
You expect that or you want that?
Both, I think.
Attackers are moving out to
Okay, well, we'll have to see how it comes through. Of course, these two teams extremely familiar with each other, not just in the matches that they've played over the last couple of weeks as the desk broke down, but also in the scrims. We've heard interviews from these players over the last couple of days talking about the fact that they are scrim partners. They played a lot against each other on stream, but also off stream as well. So it's going to be really coming down to these players finding ways to adapt, finding new ways to surprise their opponents. And on a map like Clubhouse, sometimes that can be kind of hard, isn't it, Mint?
Yeah, and this is one of those strats, actually, that DZ is kind of famous for. You have NJR, the Tachanka, they have the Raptor Wall double reinforced. And if they go for that garage take, we're going to see the Tachanka fires come out over the top. Now, this caught Wildcard by surprise one of the last times they played, but they're now well prepped. They have Habana, they have the range breach, they have hot and cold on the Deimos that can track the Tachanka, but we do see a flip coming.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to go for the master side over, so that Azami kind of Raptor's position probably won't see a lot of presence early on in this matchup, maybe late, depending on how this round kind of plays out, but we're expecting kind of a full over clear from Wildcard, right? I mean, we're seeing these players over on the roam game, Kino in particular, the most extended player on DARKZERO. He has to be good in the early round.
We'll survey these walls that have been opened up now by the hard breach on the side of DARKZERO. Talked about when that Kaid and Bandit ban came in, that the walls will get open very quickly. A good pace so far from Wildcard. Another thing you referenced, Kyle, was how prepped Wildcard would be. This is two great rosters. It's also a coaching showdown. Callout and Lagonis receiving praise from all regions for what they're able to do for their team.
Yeah, and this seems, again, like a Lagonis prep thing where they're trying to pull them onto the side of the garage. You see Hot and Cold's actually on the tub side right now. He's waiting for Kino to get pulled, NJR to get pulled back to the other side. Bay's gonna drop highway windows here and gonna get a lot of intel with that snake utility. But Hot and Cold still lurking. Should see his gunfight happening soon.
And there's a logic bomb to go off. 2 kills for DARKZERO. Baby Shark on the board. Fulton Monster takes down 2. Suddenly it's the man of the hour in a 1v4. A potentially hopeless situation. 1 minute to go and Houghton might just go for the reset here. I think he's well aware of the stakes and how nigh unwinnable this position is, so long as DARKZERO doesn't throw their brains out.
Hot and Cold is the most clutches of any player in Salt Lake City, 5 so far coming into this game. So if anyone can do it, it should be Matt, but this is a really tough spot 1v4.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just got to find any pick you can. Yeah, he's got some Deimos utility, but they know he's going to be underneath in Lounge. You're really just kind of hoping that DZ is going to like throw around and go for some peaks, but they're well disciplined, they're well coached under call out. Expect them to just kind of sit in sight right here. They're a very good defensive team.
Not a lot of time left, only 20 seconds, so Hot and Cold just waiting things out. He's been very vocal on this team. Spiker, of course, doing the lion's share of the calling. And you might be able to take this time to reset and think about what comes next in the next round, because there's no universe in which Houghton pulls this off. Discipline, the absolute word to describe this DARKZERO defense, and they'll take round number 1.
Really simple stuff coming out from DARKZERO, right? Solid anchor play from Hot and Cold. It felt like a little bit, maybe a little bit timid on the Wildcard side. They didn't get a lot of map control early. Of course, they weren't focused on the Raptor side, but it took them a really long time even to engage with that roam game on the Master side. Are we worried at all about nerves on a stage like this for Wildcard?
Yeah, I wouldn't say nerves, but I do think it's just going off of prep. Again, they're not trying to give away their take. You've seen a lot of them sitting on the roof for the first like minute, trying to pull DARKZERO onto one side, not just try to be super predictable in their attacks. And I think that's just, it kind of goes into Lagunas' way of thinking.
So, bottom floor bomb site up next. Not abnormal to see a team head downstairs, but we do tend to see them go one side upstairs, then immediately jump over to the next one. Mr. Major winning coach. Why upend that rotation and instead scoot down to the bottom floor?
I mean, bottom floor is really good, especially when you have a roam coming out here. We're gonna have Newers on the Vigil. Wildcard's, I think, statistically been one of the worst attacking teams this event, which is just something that's gonna happen when you have a new player into the roster, hot and cold, as good as he is. You know, he's an IGL. He's gonna play a little bit differently than Adrian, so it's gonna take some kind of figuring out. And then here's DZ. They're gonna play, they've already been doing this roam before. They're just gonna try to see if they can roam clear it.
Yeah, Newers in the Vigil. This is something we saw from him earlier in the tournament. Not a huge surprise. This should be expected from Wildcard, but you're also absolutely right, Mint. Wildcard, 40% offensive win rate, one of the lowest that we have here in Salt Lake City, in particular on this basement bomb site. They played it 3 times here in Salt Lake, only a single win. So they've had some struggles on this map, and with such a heavy roam game as well, it's gonna be really difficult to root these players out and still have time to go for that execute.
Sets up that CCTV portion of the site as well to be the tertiary, right? So for a lot of teams, that is all reliable.
Activating drone.
That bedroom, apologies. The other side. I got my coordinates crossed. I am standing on the different side of the desk than usual. Left is right, right is left. Throws you for a loop.
Newers up here towards top red with the Boss G. Not a super common gun that we see all the time these days, but will have to be sharp on his shots. The push is coming in from Wildcard now as we're seeing these players enter the building. Baby Shark over towards Logi. Hot and Cold over towards Jim. And Hot and Cold, the first one straight on default.
Operator, he knows very well. Fultz playing that Hibana time and time again. A good entry from Houghton buys them some time. Newers still lurking, not too far removed. As is typical with this map, you get towards the halfway point. If you don't hold map control and get the kills you want, you fall back. And there was an escort there with J90 posting up. They've switched spots now with J90 standing, watching the lounge and stock door portion. Could this catch Wildcard off guard?
Yeah, it's interesting just to waste a little bit more time there because they don't have that man advantage falling back down. But what they do have is, because Newers is on the Vigil, it's going to counter the Grim. It's the only operator that can actually do it nowadays. So he's just going to be able to back up and play that blue position, and we'll have to see how Wildcard's going to want to attack this.
Yeah, going to be giving up that top space, and 4v5, you have to favor Wildcard a little bit going into this. It feels like they've got really good time on their hands. They've got, of course, the man advantage, but there are some details inside the site they've got to worry about. You mentioned the Vigil, these Goyo canisters as well, still going to be set up inside the site, the Mute Jammers, the Kivas. There's a lot of util still to work through if you're Wildcard. So they've gotten past the roam game, that's great, but a lot of the hard part is still to come.
Nades to clear away now towards that portion of blue. As Bay will work through the Kiba barriers here, a setup for a drop towards Kitchen, while somebody on Wildcard holds that cross inside of blue. 40 seconds to go, and still Wildcard getting very safely positioned.
Yeah, I'd like to see them go for the church, or not the church side, the Kitchen side, because the zombie is super, super good and very annoying to try to get out of this church position, but they are going to get the first pick onto Newers, which is going to be a easy execute now.
And now you got the shotgun posted up on the church wall. Time running out for Wildcard, and often referred to as a death drop. They're going to have to hit the deck. Down goes Kansan at the hands of J90. DZ on the board. Kino there as well. He's got another over towards blue. DZ's actually doing mighty good in the kill department, but now it's NJR in a 1v2. He's sequestered over inside a dirt tunnel. That'll buy time, but they will get the final kill as Spiker is not able to get Diffuser down. Wildcard will answer back.
Yeah, I was just going to say easy execute, and I thought I was about to do my first caster curse, which would have been fantastic. Glad to not have that happen yet. But yeah, they just needed a 3-2-1 something, anything. They got the man advantage, made it a lot easier for themselves. They got kind of lucky that they didn't pop the Vulcan canister there so they can get an easy plant. Yeah,
no, really nice little defense coming out there from DARKZERO. Wildcard maybe a little bit off the mark going for that big execute, but of course, in the end, Wildcard, DZ a little bit off the mark, stopping that coming through, but Wildcard get it done. They make that play happen.
It's good somebody's wearing their jersey.
All right.
We're allowed a little bit of fun. Mint started the show by saying he was going to be hate watching.
That's true.
You should have seen me. I mean, luckily there's no camera on me. Hot and Cold got the opening pick, and I'm just fist bumping.
That's been great. Starts here 2-1. Of course, the substitute coming in for Wildcard. If you haven't been following throughout the group stage, bit of controversy with him being benched from his team, and now a last-minute sub in for Adrian. He's been playing fantastic with the clutches and, of course, in the late round, but can frag in the early round, too. When you're going for that full roam clear, everybody needs to participate.
Yeah, not only that, it's the comms he also provides. You look back at Wildcard when they were performing internationally, they had Dash on the team, who was also a vocal secondary leader. With Adrian, he's rumored to be a little bit quieter coming from Secret, so now they do have Hot and Cold. He's able to play the shields and let Spiker kind of frag a little bit more, and he's also, because he's an IGL, he's able to talk a lot more and help out with the executes.
Yeah, especially for Spiker. I mean, he's clearly an experienced IGL. He's one of the best that we have in North America, but he's also the youngest IGL at this event, right? He still is somewhat inexperienced as a player, just 21 years old. So having someone like Hot and Cold can be big to play behind him.
Just missed the exothermic charge. That'll open up a position now to punish Fultz. As instead of going back downstairs, they opt to go back to the top floor. Newers gets down Hot and Cold. Newers is still existing inside this position. You saw the Scopos playing semi-unsupported inside of Rafters, and he cycles down and catches Wildcard off guard.
No fist bump after that one.
Yeah, that was extremely risky. I'm surprised they didn't just bring Habana for the breach. Spiker almost caught off guard. The Mira, I mean, we're about to possibly see it again here. Potential to C4 as well.
Ooh, the EMP just caught it at the last moment, so they can't blow up that exothermic charge and the wall's open.
And Bay has been one of their best performing players from a fragging perspective, but small little pieces of utility like that, not really reflected on the scoreboard, but huge value and huge importance in the ebb and flow of a round.
What's the game plan now from Wildcard? They don't have cash control. They're sitting outside the Jacuzzi breach. They've got some good utility, but what do you want to see from them in these next 90 seconds, Mint?
I mean, they're going to need to figure out what side of they want to attack. They're obviously trying to pull the defenders possibly back from the cash side. We see a drone from Kansan moving into the cash room, set up as flanks. Now they're going to be able to play windows, and it looks like we probably should see a little bit more of a direct take and using the kind of the power operators, the Glaz, the Ying, to try to get some of these kills out.
J9O, he's going to block this window up right as the Candela comes in. That buys them even more time, and J9O in such a strong spot here.
I was wondering if the Glaz had revealed itself just yet. J9O will continue to plug that hole. Flashbangs go in where the Candela can't do the trick. Newers has a good cross now over towards that open Jacuzzi breach. As J9O has not relinquished control of that window, he might expose his backside, but the attention of Wildcard is elsewhere. Final 45 seconds, and we are inches from these teams coming to blow, Jesse.
Yeah, this could be really tight. Of course, the Candela still could be firing out, but they've all been used up, so they've got to find other ways to force these players through.
And J9O is still fighting for his life. They're throwing everything at him except for the kitchen sink. Kansan and Fultz now on the board, but the numbers favoring DARKZERO for the moment. J9O gets the vault in. Wildcard desperate because they're running out of time. A good opportunity. Bay takes down 2. Suddenly it's all up to NJR as Baby Shark and Bay will work together. NJR caught inside a construction, and believe you me, there's work to be done. Down goes Baby Shark. Bay empty-handed with no defuse kit, and the mayor does it again. NJR the clutch. He did it in Charlotte. That's how you won a major with him, and now he's done it here in Salt Lake.
Yeah, I mean, him going to the SSG core, they already had so many clutch players in J9O and Newers, and now they get NJR as well, and it's just not even fair defensively. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a 1v2, 1v3 for Nick, everyone knows he can still clutch it out.
Yeah, second opportunity there for NJR. He gets it done in the second moment, so really massive frag to come through from NJR. If you were listening to our first cast of the day, long group stage, of course, but if you listen to Ace and Dez casting Enterprise Twisted
I try
Mind,
not to.
You would have heard that Enterprise were the most clutch team throughout this tournament, and that is correct, but 1 percentage point behind them was DARKZERO. They've been so good in these late rounds, and despite the fact that Hot and Cold has the single most clutches coming into this game, as a team, it's been DZ who have been stronger in those moments. So not a surprise to see a clutch just 3 rounds deep.
Yeah, we see the Mirror getting banned out now too, by the way, and the Thermite, which is really just going at that wall denial again. We don't want them to open up the big wall, so we're just going to bring cans at this point. But we are going, I think this is the basement site, I believe we're going to be.
Yes. It is.
We'll wait to see.
We'll wait till we get there. Last round, though, just not having anything to get J9O out of cash or out of the gym position. I mean, he played it, DZ hate watch here, but he played it fantastic. He was able to waste so much time. Again, they had nothing besides Candelas. They're just hoping he would peak, but you know, there's some players in North America that don't have to just move all the time, and J9O is one of them.
J9O had a terrific kickoff, one of the highest rated players in North America, really proving his value. I know that there were some, I think it's fair to say, some decent and reasonable criticisms of DZ's offensive potential when you saw this roster announced. People said, okay, maybe NJR, maybe Newers, but where's the support? Well, J9O's been moved into that position and frankly has flourished.
It's been really nice to see him finding some success here on this DZ team. Everyone's been really putting in the work, but now here in round 4, after that last set of op bans comes through, we see a bit of a change up. Faults has jumped on this clash, and this is something that it seems like they might have been saving until after that final ban came through. What do you feel with the clash on this bottom site, man?
Yeah, I feel like when you hold on to the main stairs, it's kind of a knowledge check in a sense. Like you're just trying to see if they are going to have anything to clear this out. They obviously banned out the Capital, so it's a great plan here. I'm guessing he hit the clash as well. There's no Nomad, so this is like one of those positions again where they had a good read about Wildcard not being able to clear certain power spots, and we might be seeing it again here.
Unfortunate shot of the C4 there. That's okay. we won't have to reference it again. Faults has been doing a great job. It feels like wasting time. Like, you're right. There's no Nomad. They don't have a good way to force Faults back. And even if they have a way to maybe catch him on the vert when he rotates through, he has no reason to move.
It's like the seagulls from Finding Nemo. Mine is 3 different people are looking, but Matthew Stevens tears through 2. Kino shuts him down. A great entry point from Wildcard. We've still got half the round to go.
Well, sometimes when you don't have utility, you got to make something happen. And Hot and Cold, he's been around even DZ long enough to know when we're going to stall, someone's got to make a hero play. Dropping down the motor hatch, that's a veteran move.
Yeah, massive play from Hot and Cold, of course. He finds that gap. DZ a little bit down with their pants, so they're going to have to kind of find some way to work the man count back. This is, of course, still a very defender-favored site sometimes.
Oh, my.
Oh, the info's so good, though.
And the follow-up, Baby Shark! It was the same map where he had quite a blunder in kickoff. I don't know if there's a Clubhouse curse with the Frenchman, but it has at least moved NJR off this position. Kitchen hatch opened up, impact by NJR does not succeed, and we've got just under a minute to go in the round.
Yeah, I'm still worried. It's 3v4 for DARKZERO, but at the same time, who's alive? It's NJR. We already seen him clutch a 1v2 once. Man count just doesn't matter to this guy.
Baby Shark takes down Kino. He avenges himself. Now double numbers for Wildcard. Looking for success on this bottom floor bomb site yet again, amazingly. It's been a struggle for them. It might still be. NJR takes down Spiker.
No way.
Baby Shark, is he about to do it again? I said I would eat a hat if Soul's clutched. NJR will not do it. My stomach is safe. Newers will now need to win a 1v2. Inside a church, saying his prayers, clutching his rosary, but they're not answered. Bay gets the kill, and we've got a tie game.
Oh, luckily for Wildcard, they got the weapon. The weapon 94 stepping up when it matters. You referenced it before the game. It's got to be Bay. It's got to be Baby Shark stepping up when it matters. Baby Shark, he might have missed that easy kill, but at least we have the Storm coming down Blue Hall to end the round.
Yeah, what a round coming through from Bay, making sure things don't fall apart at the final moment. That's a critical kill to get here at the last moment for Wildcard. Bay, one of the most underrated players, and here's that play from Hot and Cold that opens the door. That's really got to be the play, because you're right. They didn't have any good ways to get past the clash on the main stairs, so Hot and Cold said, I got to take a risk. I have to make something happen. He did just that. Newers in a potential spot to clutch things up, but what a shot from Bay, finishing that up and tying the game 2-2.
Yeah, and still, that's what's worrying me, though, is they're not really having the operators to kind of deal with some of these positions. They had to rely on a hero play from Hot and Cold, but at the same time, they struggle on attack. We're at 2-2. Like, this is still looking really good for Wildcard right now.
I was going to say, what's the win con here, right? Wildcard did not choose this map. Usually, Siege Wisdom is a 4-2 on the side that you choose on the map you didn't choose is pretty basic, right? But Wildcard is not the team that is going along with the trends. They've got a new player on the roster. Their map pool might be a little smaller. It's harder for them to attack, as you both addressed here. So is a 3-3 even a good cushion for Wildcard, or they need to shoot high?
I mean, you would love higher, but a 3-3 would be great. I think the last time they matched up, they didn't win a single attack, if I remember correctly, versus DARKZERO.
It was rough on the offense,
yeah,
for sure.
It was rough on the offense. So, you know, a 3-3 is looking pretty good. I have a lot more faith in them on the defensive half. I think DARKZERO can sometimes struggle on attack, even though stats don't show it. I think they're the highest attack.
They have the highest attack win rate, yeah.
Okay. So, but I still think they can struggle because they have that 4 support structure and really only Newers. So, I mean, depending what Wildcard does, might be looking good on the defense side.
Well, looking to bounce back. Of course, they won this site back in round number 1. A lot of things have stayed the same. NJR back here on the Tachanka. You got the Azami inside of Rafters, although it's Newers. Sorry, it's going to be J9O on the Jaeger here, but they're straight in the site. Baby Shark just running in.
Oh, and he gets turned on by J9O. Baby Shark needs to hone his aiming chops just a little bit. That's the second time in 2 rounds he's had a golden opportunity and ultimately missed.
Would have liked to see the garage door player maybe sync that up a little bit since Jack was standing up to take that gunfight. Should have been a trade there, maybe a missed opportunity, but at least Jack is 1 HP. Probably going to be the next target here.
Yeah, Kansas got the air jab down towards bottom garage. They've got good tools to try to force them out if those ADSs have been burned. So there are opportunities, but things are getting awkward for DARKZERO now. The momentum is starting to build for Wildcard. Fault's down inside of Oil Pit. This is a crazy position for him to be in on the castle.
It is. I mean, he's just expecting them to have no answers, basically walk in and start walking up the rafter stairs. And to be honest, he's not far off. Again, this is the problem with Wildcard. There's no answer here.
They do have a drone pointed in that direction, though, so, you know, Baby Shark will be working those cams from the bench. Jane, I know, has done a very good job of sticking with this position. He did it when he was defending that gym window as well. He's a completely immovable object. There's Kansan to get it. You either take the body or you take the air jab. But as mentioned, you've got Fultz here in auxiliary. He's your insurance policy.
And I don't know if they're going to check this being this low on time. They're already worried about NJR with those Tachanka fires over the top. I called it out that first strat. We've seen a lot of teams kind of take this.
Doesn't seem to have an idea.
Yeah, they clearly know there was a castle down there, right? You expect the castle to be somewhere around lounge, so they've got a clue that it could be, but they're kind of pulling off that position. They cleared the Raptors guy great. They don't have to play that. They don't really have the time or the man count to do so.
Fultz is going to look for the run out here. 2 bodies, all 3 lined up, but he's worried about it. Knocked over, a free kill, maybe? No. Fultz is still able to endure. How does he take advantage of that one? Fultz and Newer's on the board. Spiker the lone kill so far, but suddenly it's a 2v2. Bay with a kill of his own. Time running out for Wildcard, looking for that ever-important 3rd round. Spiker, a golden opportunity. Bay flushed out of position. Spiker will still commit. There go the flames. Spiker will have to take the man, the body. Aquino will seal the deal. Best Wildcard can hope for is a 3-3 first half as DZ now sit on 3.
This is the problem with DZ. We keep talking about it, but it's these late round players because they've got so many star players in those late moments on their roster. It's Kino, it's NJR, the best Tachanka in the world in that position. There's no doubt about it. The Thorn having good value with that utility as well. Just really nice late round coming through from DZ. And again, for Wildcard, took them a really long time to clear Rafters. Didn't exactly see them take that space after they cleared it out as well. So maybe not the push we were looking for, Min.
Yeah, I mean, again, plan A didn't work. It took them a long time to come up with that plan B, and I mean, credit to them. They did make it happen. I really like that they rotated the bomb to the plat side to try to counter the Tachanka and plant close to the drone hole, but no audio on the Fultz run out, I'm guessing. Maybe there was a little bit of hectic comms, which is something that was kind of noted to me. I had a conversation with Hot and Cold and said, you know, what does he think the biggest problem is with him filling in? And with his added voice onto the team, it does seem like it does add a lot of extra comms into him.
Yeah, I mean, there is a benefit of having somebody like Adrian on the team. If he's not talking a lot, there is more silence, right? It's easier for you to hear things, and teams have commented on this too. You know, one of the things that people thought about Furia is maybe there are way too many cooks in the kitchen, and I mean, they got thrown out 0-3 at this event, so it would appear that none of those cooks can actually cook at all. But here, if you've got Han Cole being very vocal, it's very easy for an air jab to go missed when you're staring down 20 seconds on the clock. You got 3 bodies stacked up, you're stalling out, and you just were able to flush out some of Garage. Whether you know Fultz is there or not, there's still more work to be done, and it was just ultimately bad time.
He's even making a lot of chaos here on these defenses. They get one more opportunity now, and they'll go gym bedroom for the 2nd time. And the captain's gone back onto the Clash again. They didn't show this in their first site rotation, but he'll bring it back. NJR on the Tachanka too, so they've got really good ways to slow down Wildcard on both this cache side clear, but also, of course, going for that plant. There's no roamers really down below the site, but they can use these utilities to kind of clear through on towards red. That's where Fultz is playing. He's got Newers right beside him over on the cache side too. Are we fully committing to this clear, Mint, or are they kind of looking around and thinking, is this what we want to push for?
Yeah, I still think they're kind of looking here, and you mentioned it. I mean, DARKZERO's lineup is full stall operators. Nick on his favorite operator. For some reason, he loves Tachanka. They have the Clash, which you should thank God we have Hot and Cold on the Zofia, but it does look like actually we're going to rotate to maybe a direct take. They brought that Zofia to get Jane I Know out of that position that was earlier in gym. That might be their adaption here, and we'll see if they kind of do the same take.
And they basically got Fultz alone over cache side, so every other defender on DARKZERO can kind of hold down the site. This is going to be really tough for Wildcard to break into. They don't have the Ying like they had last time either, so they've got to find some other way to break through this defense. 90 seconds deep and not a kill on the board. Wildcard, you got to think they want a little more than that.
Yeah, I mean, they swapped out the Glaz, the Ying, they bring utility instead with the Line and the Deimos, so if your problem is assessing where they are and then flushing them into your waiting arms, why not bring some intel for you? You got some pretty good guns at the process. Deimos also pretty decent when it comes to that caliber-based destruction. The Clash now buying time as Fultz assesses the 2 holes opened up on Jacuzzi Wall. He might be on a collision course with Houghton now as he walks up, and he's spotted knocking that shield out, but there's not enough coordination. Baby Shark not fast enough. Kansan and Bay on the board. They'll get the Clash on the run. Baby Shark almost bit off more than he could shoot. The round is over. 5 kills in the span of 2 seconds and a flawless end to the first half for Wildcard as they tie the game.
Or like just same shit with fuck Gate Maravan. You're gonna use the snake, come through the strip side, hold for that main rotation early, and you're gonna work up right afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So just kind of play it slower off, showing that cash side pressure as well. They probably will slow down main or stage side, so you cut that guy. Then when we're actually ready to crank, you're gonna work on main off that.
Okay.
And then for cash, if we identify they are not doing the lounge extension, which they're probably not without the mirror, the only way they could do is with castle. You're gonna work below you and Volker. You're gonna do like the fucking pink fuck, so up red. Yeah. Or you're gonna go through the sledge, third side. Yeah. You guys are gonna work on it. Outside of that, Kino, this attack half right here, let's adjust your drone as well. Use it as kind of like a free drone, and then, because they have changed a couple of things, get the information, get a little creative with it. You've seen opportunity for it, not what you're calling, and then just fuck the echo drone, like last time. Doesn't matter. Third.
That's it.
That's it.
Heard that. Well, artistic display.
Artistic display, fellas. Take some risk here. Yeah. There we go. Let's do...
Otherwise, we're going to be super pinched, right?
Yeah.
For cash bomb side, be careful, the rest is clear, and probably going to send the mirrors to play on first floor, right? Waiting for our flanks, correct? So be careful with that, okay? This guy waiting for you guys. So the main thing is helping Bay on launch. Helping Bay on launch is super important. You're going to have the 1-mile with the shield right there. So helping him in the initial part is fine, because the middle round is going to be a little bit more difficult, right?
Okay.
And for basement, bro, playing the push right there, like being smart, right? We're going to start with a bait setup, and then we're going to play more bunker. But at the end of the day, it's bunker. Don't get killed in the room. It is a bunker strategy, but you just want to bait some triggers, right?
Okay.
But you guys talk about the crossfire, other thing for basement. Anticipate the gadgets. They're going to flashbang blue hatch, destroy the shield on Kansan, like anticipate the hatch, right? They're going to start to use utility, like do a quick peek from dirt to try to kill the kitchen flare. This is super important.
Okay.
For which strategy?
Just in general.
In general, yes. Like in our initial plans don't have echo, but during the match, guys, the echo can be very good, right? Was a problem for them. So like stick with the initial plan for the second round. If it is still not being enough, bring the echo, right? And really the game for us,
Alright, 3.2 cash easy, guys.
You guys keep the energy, good communication. Let's go.
Monty Grim.
Yeah, Monty Grim, yeah, Monty.
I mean, the 2 best coaches in NA. Like, I love a Lagotinus timeout and a call-out timeout. Sometimes I have no idea what call-out's talking about. He's just talking about catalyzing gorillas and you better crank up the whatever it is, like all this lingo. It's actually insane. And then you have the Lagotinus, who's actually more strategical. Hey, let's not get those free picks, Spiker. Let's make sure we're kind of playing backed up, playing off our team. It's very interesting dynamic. I think call-out even had like over a minute left there. He's like, hey, that's it. Like, just chill.
Yeah, it's crazy the dynamic, right? Because Call doesn't even need the full 2 minutes, doesn't even need 1, and then Lagotinus, he's rap-godding the whole way. I mean, frankly, Mint, if you're looking for a play-by-play caster to do it with, you might have Lagotinus on your side with how fast he's been dealing out the information. I like that we got the replay from Bay here just at the end there, too. He was really that key point that we didn't get to catch live, where he's coming in through Jacuzzi right when that push is happening up the main stairs. Bay's elevated himself up now 8-3. He's the highest-rated player on Wildcard through those first 6 rounds, as we come to expect from Bay 94.
Yeah, the Storm, like we mentioned before, 8-3, the Storm has arrived, but Baby Shark, we need you to arrive on this defensive half if we are going to see them close out on this map pick.
I gotta ask, where do these nicknames come from? Weapon 94, the Storm.
Oh, well, you know what? They come from Bay himself. He actually types in chat, the Storm has arrived, right? And that's when you know he is lost. The weapon is here. Like, he talks about himself in the third person, but you know what? It gets us hype. Why not have a couple names?
If you're really bad at the game, it's cringe. If you're really good at the game, it's still kind of cringe, but at least you're good at the game. So we accept.
Bay gets away with it, all right? He's got the talent. He can say exactly what he wants inside the text chat, all right? We'll let him fly.
Highest rated player, most frags as well, and I don't expect Bay to slow down any at all on this side of the map. The one person I will be looking at is Hot and Cold. He's had some games where he's fallen off. The longer it's gone along, he's done pretty well on his role. He is going to be leaned on quite heavily as a smoke in this round.
Yeah, I mean, and we see the operator bandits up. They're not running it, so we're going to bring the thermite. That's going to create a ton of ghost pressure. It's going to make it really hard for Wildcard to kind of figure out the takes, and that's exactly what Ghost was talking about. Do not be fooled, do not be baited. Hold our ground, hold our positions until we kind of figure out what's going on.
Clearly going to be a gym side over push from DARKZERO. They've started to close in on Baby Shark. He was the man we were asking for a little bit more from. Didn't have the best first half, 3 and 5 here coming into the round 7, but he can be the difference maker. If he has a good swing, that could change all the momentum.
Yeah, and like you said, they're going to be going for that gym position. Kino on the blitz is going to be the key driver here. And I think he's kind of been struggling a little bit this tournament compared to domestically, how like one of the best players in NA. So we're going to have to see if, you know, against some domestic competition, maybe he heats up.
I mean, Kino's numbers were so inflated after those first couple games where DZ demolished teams in the group stages, ended up coming in 4-0 to the playoffs, and after the very first playoff matchup, everybody thought, oh, they're going to be favorites to win. Kino coming back down to earth. DZ's chances fell a little bit. First blood, by the way, spilled by DARKZERO, answered back. Baby Shark gets one, traded immediately. Kino, the shield is down. There goes Spiker as well. Bay and Hot and Cold on the run. DARKZERO doubling up on them with still over a minute to go, and Hot and Cold's position spotted as he'll be frozen in place from an EE1D.
They might have to call him Baby Rat after that play, but unfortunately his teammates are falling, Parker. One back from Hot and Cold. That brings us close to within one now. These players on Wildcard, they've been so aggressive on the Master side. They've done a really good job of downing these numbers on the side of DZ, but there's still so much time.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed to do because they were down in the man count. Usually pro teams, they want to make sure it's a 3v3 before they back up on this side of the map. It's widely thought that if you give them the man advantage and the space over here, it's extremely hard to win the late rounds. So we saw Hot and Cold getting aggressive, Bay getting aggressive, and at this point, it's low time.
Bay will sit and wait out, trying to ride out the storm. Hot and Cold takes down NJR. He exchanged most of his HP, and he's nothing but a gun at this point. 2 guns, technically, because of the arsenal brought by Hot and Cold. No gas canisters remaining. He's got Newers not far removed, fighting his way out. Newers now looking for intel, but he's a little bit far removed. You gotta go. Time not on your side. There goes Hot and Cold. J90 finding the entry. Bay looking for double digits. If he finds both, he gets it. His position pushed out by the nade, and Newers will get the follow-up. Very good coordination by DARKZERO as they take the first round of the second half.
No storms here. It's all clear skies going through from DARKZERO. What a great attack that was over on the Master side push.
Wow, and almost a 2v4 in their way, going in their direction. But like you called before, like you just can't beat DARKZERO in these end rounds. Hot and Cold almost did it, the veteran presence there, but he just stuck out a little bit in the backstab.
I like they didn't panic too much in this. Again, like they didn't know Baby Shark's position here inside the bathroom. You see Kino gets a little bit caught off by that, but it doesn't matter. Just because you lose that spearhead, that shield, you can still find ways to battle back. They did a really good job trading through. And I think in this 2v2, like, it's unfortunate Hot and Cold goes down in the midst of that. I really did feel like that was a winnable position coming out from Wildcard, but in the end, there's just too many angles to worry about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I mean, what did concern me there, the DARKZERO hate watch coming out, they were a little slow in that execute after their first initial, and then they started just kind of trolling around, bleeding some bodies, as we call it, to that 2v2, and then didn't know what to do, where they should have been able to read into Hot and Cold and Bay, kind of coming on that Master side and aggressing. Newers was underneath of the snake, could have walked up red a little bit earlier and took the space, but yeah, DARKZERO's just not quite there yet.
One thing I did want to ask you, since you know a thing or two about this game, Jaeger's pick rate has been towards the bottom of all the operators. He's been in the sub 15 of the bottom 15 operators employed so far up this event, and yet we've actually seen a fair bit of him so far. What is it that is suddenly shoving that German operator to be used by now both teams?
Yeah, wait, well, first off, I see an OSA, and I want to know what that pick rate might be. But at the end of the day, I think something Jaeger does is against these split kind of taking teams, it forces a little bit of teamwork. So it forces people to come over and have some clear, bring a Thatcher, bring whatever type of burn that you might need. So it forces, again, the team play, which it's a nice little counter sometimes.
Osa, the 7th least picked operator so far at this event. So, I mean, you're spot on with that. Frost, the least picked operator of all. Very surprising, only been played 1 round so far. Osa played 4 rounds up to this point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm wondering if we're going to see an old school take here, which was the Osa going down the kitchen hatch, Maybe they read into this defensive lineup that there is no actual impacts or anything to really stop that Osa plant, which was a read that we used to have on old DARKZERO when we kind of figured out the state from Nafe, who was joined us from Eminem, rather. And yeah, this looks like, again, kind of looking at that prep.
That is Osa, thank you.
Couple of nitros here that you got to worry about, of course, as an Osa player, but Bay on the Azami not bringing impacts over on the barbed wire instead. Bit of a roam presence that they're worried about too. Of course, Hot and Cold here using those aggressive mute jammers. He will find the shield of Kino first, rips that nitro, but Kino able to back off, shoot that C4, and now Hot and Cold is on mission, waste as much time as possible.
If that thing goes off, it gets the kill. It also gets the hatch from not blowing up to the Hibonex Kairos. A nice duel by Kino. Hot knows that role very well, and I'm sure that's a sweet one for Kino to take him down.
Yeah, I mean, it's still 2 minutes of time waste. Would have loved to see Matt get 1, maybe 2, pull off some kind of cyber crazy play there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, not going to happen. I would like to see Wildcard try to get aggressive here because I'm really worried about this execute.
Yeah, 50 seconds now to go. You've got Candelas held by J90. You've got the Osa shield coming in for faults with the plant. So much utility, and you're exactly right. The kitchen drop here to come.
The double drop with both the shields out. Yes, Osa technically counts, but gassed so effectively by Spiker, shut down. There's Fult's gone. Osa will not be much of an impact here. Now Kino breathing in those same gases. The Ying looking for the backstab will find Baby Shark. Spiker gets yet another. This is very good defense. Maybe a small pause now as there's still 20 seconds left in the round. Case will need to be recovered by DARKZERO. This is surrendered from that drop. Newers takes down Bay. Wildcard will trail yet again. DARKZERO looking to go 2 for 2 on these attacks, and they are in mighty good shape to do that. Newers so damn good on attack that round, no exception.
The best attacking team in Salt Lake City showing up today on their own map pick of Clubhouse. 2-0 to start this, and Wildcard need to find a way to pump the brakes.
It's just how they actually had the stop with the smoke.
Same attacks, right? Let's bring in more traps on cash defense, okay? We can do the cash defense. Yeah, no, cash default, normal, okay? You play the Echo, okay, Jake, that we said before. Play the Echo, etc. Really the game for us. Shakun playing the Torn, and Kenzen, you can play them in loose. So let's have some more traps, okay? Remember, they already did the Master Tier, so be careful direct the bomb side, okay? But the play side was the same. Other thing for basement, if we return later, let's put the same mute chambers for Hot and Cold, top 4, but we don't need anyone right there. They are a little bit slow, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Hot and Cold, no. You can play the Goyo, Spiker open with the smoke, the rotation stops. So let's bait us at that, but we play bunker. Like, end of the execution, just anticipate a little bit, Moro hedge, a little bit like blue hedge, and that's it, okay? When we go, team, don't forget about it. It's important we doing a behavior, right? So they're gonna split, we do a behavior. We do the rotation in that case.
Yeah,
okay?
Lots of information being relayed by Lagonis. Very operator-specific intel coming out for him and his teammates too. Looking for a bit of echo play perhaps, looking for some Goyo play, and then focusing in on the traps, wanting to see these different operators used out. And when you're going up against an Osa, and especially when you're going up against this blitz that Kino has been running a lot here on these attacks, sometimes those stall operators, those trap operators can be really impactful to stop that momentum. I said they have to pump the brakes. That could be a good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it right there with the stall operators. I think Lagonis, aka Lagonis, is kind of reading into DARKZERO being really slow on these attacks. I mean, every round is like 20 seconds kind of left and remaining, and these guys just keep clutching up. So let's add some late round utility. Let's play off of some Echoes. Let's play off of some Goyo fires. And here we're going to see even Thorn for those late rounds as well.
Stall potential's been the name of the game so far. You highlighted it when DARKZERO was defending. Now, Wildcard will do the same. For those that have been asleep for the last year or so, you might be very confused as to Thorn's pick rate, but she received a number of buffs during stage 2 of last year and has now become a very critical operator, only one of the highest prominences, actually, of all the defenders.
I'm reloading.
Really good for soft pressure, good for intel, and also there's kill potential, especially if you're worried about that Razor Bloom killing you. You might want to take the body again when the gadget will get you afterwards. Either way.
It's hard to find a better Thorn player than Baby Shark too. It's his most played operator here at the Salt Lake City Major. He's got a 64% win rate on this op, so you know how good Wildcard can be. They're kind of falling back into some comfort picks. Bay here on the Echo is a fun one too. You don't really think about Bay as a hard support Echo player, but he's so good with this utility. One of the best Echoes in all of North America, really.
Yeah, and Wildcard love to use vision. Usually it's a lot of Valk and Echo play in their defenses. I actually think they're ahead of the meta on that against a lot of certain teams. Because the attack, with the new Snake Operator, it's the information meta on attack. The only way, or one of the ways to counter it that a lot of teams are finding, is to bring the information and to figure out what exactly the attack is doing. And then we heard Laguna say, once we figure out what they're doing, then we have our reaction, then we have our response.
An information arms race. You gotta bring intel, I bring intel, you bring intel, I bring intel. It was like that whole bulletproof meta where you had to bring grenades, you had to bring explosives as response to the defenders.
Not a fan of this. I think the first time this was brought out was Souls.
Right.
But you basically bring this Blackbeard with the ACOG, and you actually cannot see this guy. It's one of the best ways to kind of kill the Raptor player. We already see him just jumping over.
Wow. I mean, no response to that, right? How else are you going to try to force this guy out? They try to get aggressive. Spiker worried about what could come next. Bay even wanting to get aggressive on the Echo here again. He's an aggro player. This is what he does, but they're not offering him anything.
Intel, you've got the smokes, you've still got the flames of J90, so Wildcard a little worried about playing 2 standard, 2 passive, and letting DARKZERO's utility do all the talking. A great operator in the hands of Baby Shark. He'll lead off the killing on the side of Wildcard. Now it's Bay engaging with the Blackbeard, dancing around that grenade as it sails in over his head. Bosco showed us how much damage this can do, and Bay is suffering through it right now. Down he goes to Kino, similar position. Baby Shark now for backup. He's got a read as they'll walk on in. Smoke will go. Good patience here from the Frenchman. And what a spray transfer, but he misses. It will come back to haunt him. J90 shuts him down, but wait a moment. Wildcard has bailed them out of this position. The ghost of J90 in a 1v2. Good utility. Everything was starting off so well for DARKZERO, but it's fallen by the wayside. There go the Razor Blooms. They know that even the smallest bit hit him. He's dead. He wanders into the gas, concealed by the smoke. Wildcard win a much-needed round.
Much needed, and off the timeout from Lagonas. I mean, those were some great adaptions. They took some early engagements, too, in the garage door. Fights that I actually didn't even mind, with Bay getting aggressive with that Echo. Hindsight, but I think he was actually pretty safe from that Capital Fire to play was Harry, or basically underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
But he went for the fight, but we needed Baby Shark to show up, and he did.
Yeah, really important for Baby Shark to come aggressive, especially playing with his team, right? Bay and Baby Shark, that's the entry duo on Wildcard. That's the duo that you expect to see out there on the roam. So to see them having that coordination, it's not just Bay all by himself on the Echo making a play. He's got that teammate to support him. So it's nice to see Wildcard coming back out here with an aggressive defense. After losing 2 straight, after having kind of your back against the wall, it's good to see that aggression coming back.
That was the first round, gentlemen, where the team that struck first did not convert it to a round victory. So far, the name of the game has been draw the first kill, go from there. There was a trade all the way back in round number 1, but since then, the team that has opened the scoring has gone on to carry that forward. Like clockwork, we highlight the way that teams can convert that first blood. Usually the number somewhere around 75 to 80%. Here, well, it's well beyond that. So when you're a team like DZ, when you are an amazing attacking team, when you've got a guy like Newers who is usually so good at it, and he makes it look effortless.
Yep.
If DZ is able to keep up these opening duels, and they have first blood in every round of their attack so far, that is going to constantly put so much heat on the defenders of Wildcard.
Makes things so much more difficult for those roamers, of course, on Wildcard, but it makes it so critical that they have to come in and get those frags. We highlighted Bay at the halftime, was 8-3 coming into this. Hasn't found the scoreboard over these last couple of rounds, but look who's stepped it up. Kansan now tying his teammate for top frag here on the lobby. He's been a huge performer, and again, I'm not saying that Bay has not had big moments. I think he was important in that last one, but really nice to see him stepping up. Hot and cold as well now, 7-6.
Yeah. You want me to be biased on hot and cold? Absolutely can. He's 7-6. He's either hot or he's cold. We're actually seeing him. Hey, 7-6. Yardy, maybe time to back off here.
You're gonna be in the video now.
Yeah, I'm already in enough of those videos. It's okay.
We love your fans. We love your fans. All right.
We do see operator bans, by the way. I was actually surprised. Oh, quick kill. I was actually surprised they ran the map the round prior when Thermite was up. Maybe they didn't have enough information. Foltz was on that. Now we're going to see the Thermite getting banned out with the Bandit. Now walls are going to be nice and easy for NJR and Newers to open up.
That's that opening pick we were talking about. Cast a curse a little bit. Kansan's going to be the first to fall, so that gives a heavy advantage over towards DARKZERO. Again, they haven't really cleared that cash side. Both these teams favoring to go a little bit more direct, not taking as much map control when they go for these pushes. Still plenty of time, though, for DZ to work with. They can walk inside of Raptors. They can hunt for more frags, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, it looks like they want to get Bay out of the lounge position.
A nasty shot by Newers, answered back by Baby Shark onto J9O. He's punished by NJR holding this cross inside of construction. Things have gone very bad in the state of Wildcard over the last 20 seconds. I mean, when Newers hitting shots like that to break double digits, what on earth are you to do?
More players on the side of DZ, but more IGLs still up on the side of Wildcard. So they can try to put their heads together and work their way out of this man disadvantage. My worry is the time. There's so much still to play with for DARKZERO. They've got that fuse kit in their hands. They've got util as well. What's the game plan here to claw things back?
I mean, it's just going to be a normal window take. I mean, they took the cash side. It's going to be really default, but Spiker's already reading into this. He has to hold this gym window here. He's got to get aggressive, but there's no reinforcement either, and Matt's going to go for a rat play.
If Fultz doesn't see this, no, he's got a good read. There goes the round. DARKZERO moving to map point in a hurry.
History repeating itself here. Clubhouse has been such a problem map for Wildcard in this head-to-head versus DARKZERO. Of course, we saw a 7-3 domination back on Tuesday when DZ beat their regional opponents here on Club. And now 2 more opportunities to do just the same.
You got to talk about the improvement, though. Hey, we got 4 rounds now. You know what I'm saying? You're right. We got 4 rounds.
You're right.
It's not over.
The 3rd time they play this map. Oh, boy. Watch out.
Well, that's actually something I wanted to bring up, but I was kind of hoping in this series is something we have at the high levels, like the rematch theory, the best of 3 theory. It's usually the team that loses the prior best of 3. They do the most learning in the VOD review, and they're going to win the next best of 3. And, you know, that's totally me coping right now.
Yes.
I would love to see the stat on that as well.
I did notice that they'd brought a copium tank over here. I was wondering what it was for.
Yeah, I was
you've been hitting it in between each round, but I mean, I think that is mostly correct, right? I think there's ego, I think there's complacency, I think there's preparation, all of which play into that theory, but Wildcard are a bit of an aberration. They are not playing at their full 5, and while HotNCold is a terrific player and is inarguably a huge part of why Wildcard, even with a sub, have been able to make top 8 at this event, they're still not at full potential. If they had Adrian and they made it to the top 8, yeah, I think there's a good chance that we could see Wildcard more competitive.
Well, listen, substitute or not, Wildcard will have to put all of their hopes here in these next 2 rounds. They've gone back down to the basement, a site they lost last time, but the one difference they've made in the op pool is they brought HotNCold on the Goyo. This is something Lagonis called for in the TAC timeout. It's something he wanted to see. Previously on the mute, now changing things up. Makes Dirt Tunnel a lot more difficult to clear through, and that's exactly where DARKZERO are poking around.
Yeah, I think this is a great call. They faked that roam again, but they got off the mute. They expected them to go for dirt and ignore the roam that they were doing the previous round. Now they have to go and clear these Goyo or these Vulcan canisters out early, which is a good play by Kino anyway. This is why you bring the Blackbeard, just so you have these nades. You get rid of the Vulcans. This gives you the option to go dirt late.
Absolutely no roam game at all here. So Wildcard happy to just sit in their site, wait behind their Goyo canisters, giving up some space towards DARKZERO. A little bit concerned about that just because we do have a lot of util still on this DZ side. I'm looking at a Ying, I'm looking at a Capitao. They can get these hatches open. If they can get ready for a strong execute, it's going to be maybe awkward for Wildcard to hold things down.
Right now, all these DARKZERO silhouettes are trapped on over towards the end of Dirt Tunnel. You think that this will be a pretty quick execute on the kitchen once all is said and done here, Kyle?
I think that's exactly where it's going, and I'm a little worried. I just looked down and saw the Capitao, and I'm like, oof, because that's usually a very strong operator to attack the kitchen side. Once you have dirt control, then they got the fires. They can fire out anyone K9, Church Door. It just makes it extremely hard to hold.
Starting to see this utility coming through with the nades. Of course, still 5v5 as we expect for this bomb site with no roamers on the board. J9O over towards blue. That's going to likely be where we see either the Grim or the Capitao coming through. Makes that position really annoying to try to hold on to for Wildcard. In that position, you've got the Azami, you've got Bay. He has been critical for Wildcard's success so far in this game. He'll have to have another big round from inside blue.
Yeah, I mean, the Storm holding down blue, but you called it with the Capitao's actually rotating over to stock. Looks like they're going to go quick on the dirt position here.
Kino looking for a follow-up off the Candela. An opportunity for HotNCold. Kino makes no mistake about it. There's the first one from Wildcard, taking down DARKZERO. With 40 seconds to go, holding on to this numbers advantage. Hoping to hook these claws in a little bit deeper. They'll get one, trading back and forth. It's the man of the hour, Mr. Attacker himself. Newers a dozen kills. Make that another. DZ sweep through them and take their own map. DARKZERO one map away from moving on to the semis.
Ethan James, Newers, what a round to close things out. The multi-kill king on the attack. A massive performance from DZ, but it's their own map pick, and it's still a long series.
It is their own map pick, but I'm a little worried because we're following the pattern of the previous game where Newers, he had his best career game ever against these guys, 13-4, 13-6, not far off. Baby Shark, 7-10, kind of negative at the moment too. We're not seeing the players that we need to see to get to map 3.
You're never in trouble till you lose at home. If Wildcard lose at home, that's the ball game. What happens on border? We'll find out in a few minutes.
here in Salt Lake City, where we've put some of the best Siege players in the world in a 1 versus 1 versus 1 trivia contest. Who is the youngest player here?
I think Spiker.
It's me, yeah.
Spiker, classic. Spiker, the youngest out here. It's always going to be you. These will be questions about operator lore. You guys should be pretty good at this, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll see.
No.
Spiker, you shaking your head?
No.
Who's the shortest player left here in Salt Lake City?
P9, I guess. That's the only one I can think of.
No points for that one. Which gadget enables an operator in a wheelchair to be active on duty? We're looking for the exact name of the gadget.
It's just called Scopos shell.
Almost. You're missing a couple of words in there.
There's 4 words in that?
There are. Well, one of them is some letters, some numbers.
No, I lost.
It is Scopos' V10 Pantheon shells. That sound familiar?
No.
No.
I've never heard that in my life.
What is the name of Blitz's special forces?
GSG or GSG9?
Give me one of them. Pick one, and I'll take it.
GSG9.
Correct. Good point there. That was a wild time to record. I looked ridiculous, but the players were into it. It was fun, and hopefully people will get a kick out of that. But DARKZERO, they take the win to start things off here on Clubhouse. That is why you don't take DARKZERO to Clubhouse. Fox, we saw it in front of us. They were simply the better team.
I think it really just came down to the experience aspect. No hate onto Wildcard. They played a hell of a game, but it felt like the casters were saying, when it came down to the last couple of seconds, that's where DZ thrived. They were just doing amazing. And when it came down to the big individual plays, that's what we saw. Not only was it great team play, but great clutches. I mean, NJR in round 3 in a nice 1v2 situation, Bay was able to get 2 picks pushing into the site. But then NJR clutched it up in a 1v2, and that was something that was so beautiful from him. And this is what we talk about, being a turret. He's locked in a position, hell in a cell, still back against the wall, he gets 2. And then it goes without saying, I mean, Newers is big clutch himself to be able to push this round that much closer to being a secure win. I mean, this 3K from him, locked in a church. He realized the diffuser was way too far away, couldn't get to his team, so he took matters into his own hands, was able to handle it all on his own.
Yeah, Newers was definitely firing all cylinders. I mean, there was multiple occasions where Newers was just getting multi-frags, but like you were saying, NJR just being a sentry. I mean, 82 cost. I mean, when you just look at the cost from both sides, I mean, clearly everyone was trying to show up as best they can, but again, DARKZERO just a little ahead of the curve there, and Newers like playing exceptionally well. But again, one thing I really want to highlight outside of just Newers is those opening kills. Yep. We heard Parker talk about it. There was only one round out of those opening kills that it wasn't converted. Opening kills really led the way for either side, who was ever getting in. Clearly, if you're looking on the side of DARKZERO, they were running away with those opening picks.
They sure were, and even in those situations that seemed very clutch appropriate for Wildcard, hot and cold inside of Logi in the 2v4. A lot of these situations, it felt like Wildcard, hot and cold most of the time, was on his own. He had to be able to get that man advantage back, and he tried his absolute best, but at the end of the day, you got 5 DZ players running at you in Strip Club. There's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, in one ways, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because he did almost find success in that one top floor round where he did just over-aggress and he gets picked off from behind. But even in that basement round, where he gets pushed all the way into Strip, I mean, I would almost say go back to a turtle, have that little man advantage below, being able to, you know, make this round go more into their favor. Just losing a death like that with no trade potential, no one able to save him. I need to see him more with the team, especially in a dire situation now where they don't have a lifeline.
Yeah, backs against the wall, Wildcard need a win. So maybe for some inspiration, our very own Ian Chambers sat down with Hot and Cold's family ahead of this map.
You never forget your very first esports event, especially if that first event features your son performing on stage. That is the case right here for Kristen.
Yes.
Kristen, you are Hot and Cold's mum. How much are you enjoying this experience?
Oh, so much. I'm so blessed to be here. Nothing was going to keep me from coming here.
How proud are you of him?
Extremely proud of him. I am his biggest fan, always.
Do you think he's going to come back? I mean, look.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We're going 3 maps?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Nick is here too. Now, Nick, Hot and Cold's your brother. Does this feel like an emotional moment to see him perform live?
It's sure a cool moment, for sure, I'd say. It's cool.
Kristen, when you've been watching him online, I guess, did you imagine what an event like this would be like to see it live and in person?
I tried to imagine, but until you're here, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to win?
Yeah, of course.
Kristen, it is lovely to meet you. I hope you enjoy the rest of this event. And for your sake, I hope he goes on to win this thing.
He will.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Wildcard moments away from diving into this one, and as we said, they need a little bit of energy. They need that comeback, and maybe that can power Hot and Cold up a little bit, see his family there in the crowd.
There's nothing like a mother's support. I mean, there's nothing that can come closer to it, and I think she is absolutely right in being able to have faith in Hot and Cold and the rest of the boys in Wildcard to make something work.
You love to see it. At the end of the day, even if he's not able to push it and win this series, win this tournament, I'm sure we're going to see Hot and Cold yet again on the main stage in the future.
Well, Border is next, and we've got our fantastic TriCast standing by and ready to go. Intero, Jesse, and Mint, take it away.
Well, I know it maybe wasn't the result that you wanted, but you can't say it wasn't a good map. Mint, Hot and Cold certainly far from the problem, but again, Wildcard, they've been kind of running uphill this entire event, and it might just be too steep of a climb. And I mean, hey, some of those Salt Lake City mountains look like they're, well, you can't Uber to the top of them, that's for sure. So, is this the end of the road for Wildcard? Border awaits us, and yeah, man, I'm gonna ask you, are we going to map 3?
Yeah, just huffed a little bit more of that copium, and I think we are going to map 3, but me and Jesse, we were just talking about this map pick coming out from Wildcard, which is actually quite interesting. It's not even one of their favorite maps. No. Talking to them before the event, they actually have no idea even what their map pool is. Maybe they're just like, hey, maybe Border's our map. But traditionally, this is not a Wildcard map, and so them picking it here doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're looking at DARKZERO's map rate as well, where they lost 3-7, I believe it was, to...
Yeah, to Shopify Rebellion back during the kickoff playoffs.
Which I don't even think is the strongest Border team, so I'm expecting Lagonis, again, hopefully have some good prep on Border. But the biggest problem that last map for me was the opening kills, only having 3 opening kills. They don't have any pushing power. They didn't run a shield a single time. I would expect that to change on a map like Border.
Yeah, Border is so important too. Those opening frags can be even more critical. So you've got kind of a really important goal in front of you for Wildcard. Find some of those entries, sink your teeth into a little bit. You mentioned it, this is a bit of a curveball pick. We don't expect Wildcard to be picking a map like Border, but they do it out of maybe desperation. They've played DZ so many times in the past. They've lost 2-0. They've struggled on some of their own map picks, so throw a bit of a curveball in there. The only time we've seen this Wildcard team play on Border was back during Cloud9 in the kickoffs, and that was an 8-6 win. So a win, but very scrappy, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say DARKZERO are a better team than Cloud9.
I don't know how you can say such brash things on a broadcast like that. That's a heater right there. That's
They bring me in for the hot takes.
That's why you're here. To your point about the First Bloods in the previous map, every single player on DARKZERO struck first. All 5 of the players drawing First Blood at least once. Of course, it's across both attack and defense, so that is a well-oiled machine. And again, DARKZERO, when they assembled this roster, taking the core of Space Station Gaming, the concern was fragging, but if all of them are fragging and fragging first, well, I mean, I suppose they can all kind of shoulder some of that fragging weight.
Yeah, on a map like Border, too, it doesn't really even matter how long it takes you because you don't really have to get much map control. I mean, East Stairs already given here. Kino in quickly with the shield operator, but the first problem they're going to run into is the triple walls actually Bandit. Trick Spiker hit the Bandit during the prep phase. It looks like it caught DARKZERO off guard. They have nothing for this.
And even the Flores drone, it keeps getting zapped by this bulletproof. That's the 3rd time in a row now they've zapped it away so they can't blow up this wall.
Mr. Multi-kill, they do it again!
I mean, until you force this guy off the camera, that is going to stay closed. There's no way to open it.
They are not allowed to play with their toys. They are very firmly in timeout. Mr. Multi-kill Newer is the first one to die. That is not the entry that DZ wanted, and given that they drew First Blood on every single attack on Clubhouse, things have already shifted ever so slightly.
Yeah, and I mean, and look, speaking of shifting, it looks like they're actually running at the CC player, which is going to be the Storm here in CC with the Aruni DMR. He is so good inside CCTV, right up there with Noah.
How is that not a headshot? I'm not even playing, and I'm mad about that one. Nice picks from Kansan and Hot and Cold. Only 1 kill so far. DARKZERO struggling with this one. That's all they'll be able to muster. The sub himself wearing your jersey, the unwanted jersey, gets the final kill. Wildcard go up to a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, nice shout out there with Unwanted, by the way. I like that. But I like...
Fruit of the Loom?
Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit of the Loom?
Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit of the Loom, black shirts,
extremely comfortable,
They're breathable.
Breathable. I like what they did there on defense, though. They didn't try to play the trap heavy meta, which Border usually is. That's like the plan A for most of these teams. They went to like that plan B, which is going to be using the castle. They probably would have loved the mirror if it was up. And then the Bandit as well.
You can get those at most stores all over the world.
Not a hard shirt to find, not a hard jersey to rep.
I miss it. I'm not gonna lie.
You're not even wearing one.
I'm wearing the championship white jersey.
You're wearing the home jersey.
If we would have beat FaZe, this would have been our home. Yeah, we would have wore this for the grand final.
Well, really good start from Wildcard, one way or another. It starts with Kansan getting that opening pick, something we've been focused on here. And even the Utso game, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, Mint, with the Bandit tricks coming through. We saw it with the bulletproof camera as well. Made it really difficult for DARKZERO to find an opening on that defense. But they'll get a second chance coming down here towards the bottom floor. Ventilation Workshop will be our second approach for Wildcard. What are you hoping to see out of this defense from Wildcard?
Well, again, it's going to be another compact defense running the Cade tube. So they're going to be trying to force DARKZERO to actually work to take some of this map control. Probably if they want to read into the books walks, which is basically walking outside the CC balcony. I'm assuming the armory wall is double reinforced. Now they're forcing Foltz to bring that Thatcher to try to open up the wall. Ooh, actually it's the jail wall, which is also going to be. So this is, again, it's just problem solving. They're forcing DZ to play an uncomfortable border. It's not just like traps and get a bunch of picks and get a bunch of easy kills. They actually have to problem solve.
Yeah, and I like the Twitch being brought out from J90. You already see a little bit of that problem solving coming through alongside the Thatcher, which you already mentioned, being brought now by Foltz. You got Newers in the IQ, so they've got the right tools here to deal with it, but there's still a lot on the board they're going to have to clear through. Already opening things up in through Passport. It looks like there is a strong focus here on the mid floor, wanting to try to get into the south side of the map. If they can get this space, they may not have above the bomb slate. They might not be able to break into lockers, but they'll still have some good map control to then move over and try to work some more picks.
And in goes Kino. He's got 2 players nearby, but he might not be aware of that as he continues to, well, haul ass, I believe, is the official term, and he's blinded the Valkyrie. Baby Shark made that one a little bit too close for comfort on the side of DARKZERO. I'm certain of that, and Hot and Cold wants no smoke whatsoever. He peels completely off of this position, will survive for the time being. His whereabouts known by the drone inside a bathroom, and the Kaid will wait and live to see at least another few seconds.
Hot and Cold so on his own. DARKZERO wanted to be able to get that secured kill. If he doesn't get a frag, that'll be a 5v3 advantage for DZ, so it's critical that Matt can do something here.
Yeah, it looks like they're reading into DARKZERO just trying to go for like a back workshop plant. They're actually going to just have to take some fights.
And they're narrowing them all down. 3 players a Wildcard no longer available as DARKZERO finding a little bit more sharpness on this entry than in the previous round. Setting themselves up very effectively for a flawless end to round number 2 to tie this up. It all hinges on Kansan and Bay.
They've got the vert here, Parker. This is massive, and the smoke comes through, but with this shield, it's so difficult to deny the plants.
And they drop. It's the support player of Foltz collecting all of these kills. Kansan unable to determine the location of the defuse kit. That's the first diffuser planted in this series. These teams are usually pretty good with utility, but it's been all violence all the way down. To stop a flawless end, Kansan will need to collect 1, 2, maybe 5 kills, who knows. Kansan's had some pretty nice clutches in his career. It starts by taking down Foltz, but he'll run right into the blitz. Aquino.
What?
How did Kansan hit that one? Unfazed as ever, but his luck will run out after 2. DARKZERO answer back and tie the game.
Well, it would have been the greatest clutch of the tournament.
Would it have been his greatest clutch? Because he does have a spot named after him.
Pretty good.
You know?
What's yours?
What's my what?
What do you think is his best clutch then? Do you think it's the bank?
It's the bank one, for sure. I mean,
he did that in jeans.
There's something to it. There's Hot and Cold right now. The black shirt, it's not only the black shirt. He's wearing jeans. He's wearing jeans as well. Dream. Dream is sexy. Can we get that chant going maybe? But anyway, he likes to play in jeans as well. Why not?
Those are khakis being worn by Callout.
A lot of jeans in the Wildcard fans too. That's good to see, starting to represent the team a little bit. Of course, on the top and at the bottom, these 2 squads have loaded up the arena with their fans here today. DZ and Wildcard jerseys all throughout the crowd. In this hometown matchup, we came to expect it. But I don't know, I feel like the DZ fans have been a little bit louder today.
Camera feed up and running.
I mean, I wouldn't fault any of these fans after how loud that Shopify Rebellion G2 match was, and that one was about 5-6 hours ago. So, I mean, the fact that they've been able to stay and rise to the occasion, kudos to you and the fans. We are expecting a very noisy barn tomorrow as even more fans fill in those seats here in Salt Lake. Typically, Fridays are the quietest day, and I gotta say, crowd, I'm not trying to win you over here, but you've been pretty good for a Friday crowd, so give yourself a hand. Incidentally, the loudest they've been is for themselves.
True. They know what's important.
Of course, that.
Here on a bathroom push, there's not a lot of map control being taken early. I love this sends wall from Newers. It's threatening a bit of a direct take fast here. Are they going to commit to it though, Mint? It feels like maybe not.
No, I think this is a full pool going on. I think this is another good read from DARKZERO. That previous round also, they noticed there was no Warden or Solus, so they hit the site. What do we see again? No Warden, no Solus. They're not able to read into the take. It's just pure wall denial, which seems like that's kind of what the plan is for Wildcard.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this Bandit Kite being brought out by Wildcard. It was good enough to support them in that first round, not good enough in the second. DZ finding success when they can get some of these early picks, when they can make things a bit messy, when they can lower the round count, the man count over on the side of Wildcard. They'll pivot now to a top floor take. Of course, the util throwing into sight, but they want to find some of these roamers before they get too active. Opportunity, and they do down Kansan in the midst of it.
Is he aware, though? Kansan immobilized by the immediate follow-up of the EU1D. Full Soul is one in back pocket. There goes the shield. Kino will hope for something is there. Kansan is finished off. NJR securing the kill. He started earlier on. It's also the shield that's been dropped, so Bay has fallen off of his position. He's got a gun in hand. He'll take down Volt. Spiker dies elsewhere. The advantage right now for DARKZERO, and they're going to huck a bunch of utility in. This is a brisk one. 1 minute 20 still on the board. Kino getting defused, get down. Nitro Cell tossed a little bit short. Hotten's arm just not strong enough. How does he not see him? Matthew Stevens. Oh my, some tisk-tisk. Your mother's in the audience, my friend. Suddenly the advantage, though, swinging back in favor of Wildcard. Newers and J9O to stand for the next 30 seconds as the job was done by Kino earlier. There goes Newers. So far a good retake. Jack bolts in, but only find one. Ice in the veins of Wildcard as they pounce on the defuse kits, and Wildcard regains the lead.
He did miss the blitz there, but did we see the reaction time on that hatch?
Nasty shot. Oh my God.
He's feeling 19 again. It might be flip side days.
Hunt's turned back the clocks.
And of course he's on the Valkyrie. I've been calling Hot and Cold a Valkyrie crutch for as long as I can remember. on 1 and 2. I mean, yeah, he needs the MPX basically.
Well, he hits heads with it. That's all you can ask for a guy like that. And really big moment there to be able to secure that play, get that frag up on the hatch, and then of course stick that disable at least at the start, force the jump in from J9O. It'll be attack time over DZ.
Yeah. If they go back to armor here, that's what I want to focus on. Like for the 2 mid sites, it was pretty good. On the identify early bulk, like I want to push Jones deep if the triple wall is reinforcing that. If it's not reinforced, I just want to fully commit to east side. If it is reinforced, Kino, I want to go for your metal take, where you like work up off that and you just fucking straight up blast it straight in the side and ignore the CC guy.
Yeah. Blitz. You have to do it. Like,
I got Monte, or BB, sorry.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine. And then and like I said, if it's not reinforced bulker, let's just take east, just work all the way through, work it to a semi on these guys.
Okay.
They did do with a bandit last time, that's what I'm saying. It could be either one. On the on like the vents in the teller site, identify it's a top hold. If it is a top hold bulk, you can look for the rush, you can look for the top like crank, whatever else it might be. And then for tellers, same shit. It's probably more default this time though, so just call it a scene.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. The whole timeout's kind of revolved around that triple wall, really. I mean, it just kind of calling for this armory, specifically use most of the time for armory to try to get this round win. Do they want to crank up the metal stairs and go for the CC player, go at Storm again, or do they just want to commit to actually going through the triple wall? And then I don't know if I like the call on vents. Actually, if it's a full top hold, if they bring the Warden and Solus, he wants to hit the site, but that might be the time to go for the other direction, taking custom, taking the free space. But we'll have to see how it works out here. I do expect Wildcard to not do the same thing. They should adapt, and we're seeing it here.
Yeah, immediately. It's not even the same site coming out from Wildcard, so they will play all 4 sites on border, back to back to back to back. Custom supply, basically never seen at a tier 1 level, every now and again, but this is a really big curveball.
Yeah, the biggest curveball for me is we were running wall denial, and yes, Cade got banned, but we're not going to run Bandit. We're going to run Hot and Cold on the Alibi. Has Alibi been played this event?
I would.
That is a damn good question.
We'll check the numbers.
Crunch the numbers and send them to me, Jesse, or us.
I love Alibi here, but trying to play in sight with the Alibi, I don't know if this is just a snake counter. Obviously, Newers is on the snake, and some people think that might be a good counter instead of standing on a meat jammer, but he does have a fantastic gun.
Oh, no. How on earth did Fultz find Spiker in the first 20 seconds of the round? That is a devastating loss.
Dead.
So that's kind of a normal play. I mean, Spiker plays around the fire hatch. I feel like this is kind of, let's see it right here.
Let's take a look.
An instant replay.
Wow.
Window is prepped. Spiker likes to play aggressive around there early, fall down the bathroom hatch and try to go for a flank late. Looks like another aggressive play, possibly.
Good read from one captain onto another. Baby Shark hunting for a frag, but Newers seems to be aware of it. waiting for this peak. I think Baby Shark's gonna think better of this.
You hope so, but this is just a patience battle, and my money's on Newers.
Yeah, mine is too. He's looking for a Claymore. Of course, there's nothing there. He's used his gadget. It's good read. Doesn't see anything, though. Ooh, maybe should be seeing that.
I think they might have an idea. A pretty damn good idea as Fultz will go for a second. He's got the read. Does he have the reflexes? Can't control the recoil, but Newers is there for the backup, and a good 1-2 punch as DARKZERO's lead, and man count grows.
As clean as they come, huge now 2-man lead coming out. 90 seconds still here on the round as well. Somebody on Wildcard has to make a big play now that they're down this much.
Yeah, you just said it. I mean, it's a 3v5. At this point, you can't let them execute. You need to try to find some aggressive plays.
Nitro Cell goes out. Maybe that would have gotten a kill in another round. Nobody even close by now as Bay will have to fall off in this position.
Feels almost desperate coming out from Wildcard. Even with their phones ringing, they have to make these aggressive plays over towards Metal. Hot and Cold wants to be the hero, but nobody finding his line of sight yet.
He's got a great gun for it, and he seems to sense that there's going to be a player walking in this front door. Can you beat the SMG-12?
Very few have. Hart says, I can.
Wow.
He's been golfing a lot. He's really hitting his shots. That's a good swing.
40 seconds
Better than
now.
his golf swing.
Hunting for another, didn't quite find it. 38 seconds, you managed to bring things back towards one, but you still want more before they go for their push.
This is quite the gun to control. My God. Hot and Cold shreds J90, and he is still running laps around this map. Bay will get taken care of by Kino. Secured in just a matter of moments, I'm sure, as Kino's looking for more opportunities. Newers will be the one credited with that one as Kansan and Hot and Cold now hit the deck. 2 rats looking to make some noise.
10 seconds remaining.
A cheesy play, but if there's anybody to find it, it's those rats. Down goes Hot and Cold. Kansan will need to save this one. He pops up. Down goes one. Pitter-patter. Time will run out, though. Just too many targets for him to hit, and DZ will win the round.
At the last second, he hit that shot. At the last possible second, he hit that shot. And the fans are rowdy in Salt Lake City.
Oh my God, that one hurts to see. Hot and Cold doing what he needs to do as the super sub, finding some picks with Alibi. I was about to go on a big segment about how I think Alibi is actually underrated.
Go on.
That gun is,
Go on, you got the time.
I got the time.
You got the time.
Look, the gun is great. We see Shaiko take it first off. Shaiko, great player.
Of course.
It's got a great gun, fast rate of fire. You got the Bailiff, you got prox alarms for the gaps. I mean, it's actually not that bad, especially in the meta now. With Snake, we see him make those big plays. I would have liked for Bay maybe to not give away his position in blue lobby or blue desk, maybe rat a little bit and force next to you. I don't even know if he was pinged. And then, of course, the right at the end of the round. Like, if Kansan had any other gun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the damage just not quite enough. There's 2 storms on Wildcard in that round, but even still, not quite enough to stop DARKZERO. And look at this, Wildcard, despite the fact that the top floor is often thought of as the strongest side of the map, they are not going to go there. They knew that maybe that's where the TAC timeout was being placed for Lagonis, so instead, or for DARKZERO, I should say. So instead, they're just going to avoid the top floor. They'll save it until the very last round of their half, if they even play it at all in that 6th round, and go Vents Workshop instead.
Yeah, and here's them switching it up again. They're going to go to that top hold. We see 4 players from Wildcard holding the top floor. They're bringing Warden now for those smoke plants, anticipating a rush, but that's what we said, her call out today.
Oh, no. So if we go back to Clubhouse, DARKZERO has first blood on every attacking round except for one.
Jeez.
And that was all the way back in round number 1 of this affair. Since then, DZ has been terrific. You both have tripped over yourselves to talk about how good DARKZERO is on attack, and boy, oh boy, is it showing up handily here on Border.
It is, but I mean, it's still 2-2. Yes, they got the man advantage as long as they're able to get some trades here. This is a very attacker-sided map. I think for DARKZERO, you're obviously hoping for a 3-3, but more than likely, you want that 4-2. You want to close out these next 2 rounds.
Well, it's been a couple of good rounds coming in from Newers as well. Starting to get active here on Border. He's the main entry fragger on this DZ squad, and he finds that one onto Shark. Now they've got to work some more picks. Of course, taking this map control upstairs with Kino. Down below, Newers on a bit of a lurk all by himself down here towards the front door. Bay here with the Scorpion, a critical position. He wants to hold this as long as possible, but Hot and Cold is actually the one to strike back.
Just put him on Valk, please. Like, more often, put this guy on Valk. I mean, 6-3 right now. He's trying his best. We just need the rest of Wildcard to wake up.
And I mean, it's been Baby Shark who's really been the boat anchor on this team, coming in as one of the best rated players. If I believe the best rated player on the team statistically, he is the second worst rated player on Wildcard at this current point in time. Only Spiker is below him, which is abnormal for Spiker as well. But I mean, Baby Shark's struggles are usually on line, on land. He flourishes, but he's been swimming against the current, and I think it's starting to take him away.
Couple of big positions now being held. DARKZERO, they've got Newers just at the top of these metal stairs. Of course, he's hoping someone makes a swing. Kansan holding the other end. Hot and cold on his favorite operator. There's a second.
Oh, but he's outdueled by Fultz. These two vets on a collision course. Newers and Fultz will now need to stare down the 3 on Wildcard with Fultz hanging onto that defuse kit. Objective play was not that important on Clubhouse, but we have seen the diffuser planted twice already on border. Will it happen again? I think it's a little unlikely. Final 30 seconds now. Fultz walking into the danger zone. Out will go a logic bomb. Well timed by Newers. Fultz looking to capitalize off that as he retakes the top floor. He has his hands full against Bay, but he wins the engagement. A puzzling one, and now Newers will join him. Arm in arm, hunting them down. Spiker good enough for one. Newers will need to be the savior with very limited time. Kansan and Newers in a 1v1. Hoping to flush Kansan out of this position. Newers will get the kit to the halfway point. Kansan can't rotate. He's blocked off by the castle. His own teammate's utility undoing him. He's given his position away. Newers will greet this. Newers is feeling himself today. A dozen kills on map number 1, 4 here so far. Kansan hoping for the best. Hopes all he'll get. A huge round from Newers, and DARKZERO take the lead.
DZ fans on their feet after the big 1v1. Newers back-to-back rounds of huge impact coming through from his team. Florida's finest can't quite do it now 2 rounds in a row as well. In those clutch positions, in those late rounds, with the MPX, with the other guns, with the shotgun, he's not able to find those clutch moments today.
Yeah, he's not, and if it wasn't for that castle, I thought he was going to have that.
Yeah.
Weird that he didn't know that that castle was there in that strat. But and I want to say how good DZ is in these late rounds, but that was a total blunder from Wildcard in a 3v2. Why we're taking any engagements. They had no win condition except walk upstairs and find some kills before they can go for a plant, because we did have the vertical control. They walked upstairs, they got the ones that they wanted, they traded it out, and then, again, a weird end round by Kansan.
Yeah, I mean, you can see right here, Bay maybe a bit disconnected from Spiker, the other top floor player in the midst of that. It's kind of where you're seeing those maybe blunders come through, but I did like from Fultz in the midst of that. Before going up metal, he flashes right towards the site. That kind of puts the idea in the head of Wildcard, like, oh, they might just be going for a plant, they might not be clearing up above. Obviously, a lot going on, and they eventually figured it out, but even still, really good push coming out from DARKZERO, capitalizing on some of those mistakes, and now 3-2. They cannot lose this half.
Yeah, and best case scenario for Wildcard, obviously get this round. We're not too happy with their attacks. They're at 40%.
Yeah, you have to imagine they'll be favorites on the second half, DZ.
This is vintage Nick right here. This is mailbox 101. Let's get this guy Kali and just look out a window for 2 minutes.
Sees a Kajmada Bay that was thrown out earlier. A North American team earlier today has already punched their ticket to the semifinals. Shopify Rebellion with a statement game against G2. Andy with giving off one of the best single map performances we've ever seen. We're guaranteed another North American team, but what do they win? They win a matchup against FaZe Clan, the defending world champions, who have yet to drop a single map here at this event. We've already seen one death. It was Hot and Cold who died. So what can they muster? Pardon me?
I mean, that was a battle happening for about 20 seconds. Bay just had his pistol out. Let's fight a guy on a sniper rifle and win it.
Only Bay makes that play. Like, who else in the world is going to swing a Kali up on that window with a pistol of all guns? I mean, you have to. You're not swinging it with the Scorpion, but good lord.
That's not Bay. That's the weapon, by the way.
That's the weapon.
Sometimes you get caught in the storm. Kali could not ride that one out. And, I mean, what an answer back. Wildcard suffering through Hot and Cold of all players to die earlier on. And they've managed to somewhat recover.
Another pistol on this side, though. Watch out for it. Newers down below, 6-2. He's been the best player on DARKZERO these last couple of rounds. He's been so deadly on these opening duels. 2 for 2 these last couple of rounds. Now hoping to be able to close this one out with a win.
Yeah, they're targeting Spiker here in Archives. They got the radio wall open next to him, but Spiker's gonna play, or try to play in a spot here where he can stay alive, but they have him trapped.
It's a suicide position for Bay. Inside of security, we see that Ella, or even the Denari, played in that position. Bay is living on borrowed time, very limited HP. You were right, they're trying to track down Spiker. They've been unsuccessful so far. Bay gets another. Oh my goodness, and now it's Kino on the ground. Baby Shark needs to make up for lost time, and he gets Stewers as well. J90 will need to clutch out in a 1v4. This is a daunting task walking in. They know exactly where he is. He's gonna drag Spiker down with him. How many more can he claim? We've kind of been waiting for J90 to pop off. This could be the potential. Not a lot of time though for the superstar and DARKZERO to work with. He's got a good read. Now in pursuit of Baby Shark. He flashes his way around, the DMR getting put to good use. J90 with that pocket SMG in hand. This is a messy one. J90 wins it, but running out of time. No defuse kit. Can he find 2 kills in 5 seconds? A valiant effort from Jack, but it won't be enough. Wildcard will win on time alone. 3-3 the first half. Neither of these teams closer to victory.
Just like on Clubhouse, things oh so tight between these two NA Titans.
Also, remember we just talked about, like, early on in the round, if they're playing it slow, when it gets quiet and they start stacking that pressure, that's when you look to get aggressive on them. Especially on a map like this, and then, like Eddie was saying as well, make sure we're cheesing them. They're not that comfortable on this map, they don't play it a lot.
Yeah.
A little hangage.
Little hangage. Yeah, if you're not cheesing, at least do some pictures. Punch a brick door, punch a cat window. Bullshit like that.
Yeah. Take a seat in the lawn chair for a minute.
Yeah,
a little
good.
relax.
Get you a low light in there. Plant for a little bit. A
little plant.
Nothing wrong with a little plant. Also, bro, even more like they like the walks, and even more with the sub, bro. They're like not fully comfortable right now. Like they're not full in like their environment, bro. So it's even more of an enabler for them to do those weird walks. Okay.
They're gonna be faster.
Yeah, where I just called that. Called the gas.
The rushes or like fast walks for sure.
Yeah.
Matt loves like the rushes with the cat post plant outside vent window. If I see him out there, I'm actually gonna laugh. Cat fires down.
And then
that window.
Also as well, Bulger, just in case it's overtime, if we do go back to attacking the army site, we're not doing the best with like the mid-round.
One more defense. Armory 5 top extended. They have some bunker strategies. Remember, we can do some split setups against bunker.
Take a lot of gunfights, bro. Like
bring it more vertical, bring it more IQ for these bunker strategies. Open the walls, especially remember thatch is gonna be important. He burn up to open the hatches. So make sure prep phase is super important. Then we adapt the best traders for that specific round, right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We're final match 3 defense right here. Default. They love to attack, right? It's for a reason that they pick that. So now it's our time to work, cook them, talk about it.
Yep.
That's how I enjoy the moment, right?
Yo, admin, can I get more water?
I'm out.
You can get one of mine if you want, admin.
What's more inspector?
I don't want water.
I haven't touched it.
Then you 4. Remember third ban, okay, Sparky. Maybe mute can be something, okay? Let's see what they done.
Yeah, I heard that.
Go, guys.
So we're running the fuse here, right?
The weapon is thirsty, and that must be quenched first and foremost. Let's get that handled. Bay asking for some water at the end of that TAC timeout, but I want to focus on Kino a little bit. He spoke up in that timeout and makes a bit of a statement there, saying these guys are uncomfortable on border, but they're even more uncomfortable with the fact that they're playing with a substitute. That substitute sitting across the stage from Kino, none other than Hot and Cold, the one player that was side by side with Kino 6 months ago when they lifted the trophy in Munich. We have 2 major champions going head to head, and it's not a surprise that Kino's got a little bit of a deeper read given his former teammates on the other side.
Yeah, even Foltz with a deeper read as well, mentioning the Capitalities outside Ben's window. Here's the 94. Wow. You said it. Who else could do that? Who else has the confidence to do that?
Not me.
While he's thirsty, too. Like, what?
The 94 is now quenched.
There's a whole lake for him to drink from, not too far from here.
Salty,
maybe
though.
Salty.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Maybe we shouldn't drink from that.
But they did also mention about doing a lot of ghost pressure as well. They want to slow down Wildcard, even if they're not going for these peaks. They want to at least hit the barricades, what I call like speed bumping. You're just trying to make them even slower. But the thing with Border, again, you don't really need to take that much map control. This is a cheese map. They were aware that, hey, they might try to cheese on this map, but again, you don't have to take much map control. You take east stairs, and then from there you take like 2 rooms and you're in the site.
Well, as we come into this half swap, once again, it's all tied up, but remember, it was also tied up on Clubhouse. That's the one thing. When Wildcard moved to that second half, they really started to struggle back on Club. They have to be able to answer much faster here on Border.
Small difference, though, or maybe massive difference, actually. That was DZ on attack, and DZ attacking is their forte. Wildcard was able to hold DARKZERO to just 3 successful attacks on this map. So that could change the trajectory of this particular map. Now DARKZERO will have to ride presumably the harder side, at least based on their own metrics.
Yep.
But they seemed pretty confident. I mean, oh, it's been happening, just lounging.
Yeah, this is going to be a sight hit right here. I can't remember if this was Wildcard that did this or somebody else, but basically, a lot of people go for a back archive plant. One team, I'm going to just pretend it's not Wildcard, used Amaru to go through the window and actually plant the window and fake the archive side. I think this is the reverse. We're going to go through the window. Baby Shark is going to go window or hatch. Matt's going to suppress with the concussion from the Zofia, and we should see an execute coming here.
Gonna be dangerous the moment it comes through. Shotgun in the hand for Baby Shark. He's just there for the frags, hoping to capitalize on some of that. It's gonna be Spiker, of course, who gets that plant down, but already half HP. It's gonna be risky.
J9O, the only one not heard with these logic bombs as he sits on a mute jammer. There they go off to the races. Kino finished off by Baby Shark using that Gara hook to slingshot his way into the heart of TZ's defense. They'll turn the tables. Newers eliminates Baby Shark. So the surprise is good. Diffuse kick goes down. The surprise is even greater. 4 players on each side still alive, 8 of 10 up for this post plant. Perfect time to bring out the logic bomb. Those mute jammers doing an excellent job of concealing the defenders, but DARKZERO cannot rest on their laurels. They are running out of time, and so far the coverage for Wildcard has been very good. Newers trying his best, looking for kill number 9. He'll get it. NJR on the defuse kit. They'll plug the hole. Nick, if you'd only trusted him, you would have probably won the round. Wildcard pull that one out of back pocket, and they take the lead.
Thank God for the backstab there, because I was worried that was just about to be a defuse.
Newers nearly steals that away. The defuse happening at the exact same moment. A scary final post plant, but Wildcard, they get the job done in the end. Those Kiba barriers, they're not quite enough to stop things out. And unfortunately, just jumping off that defuse kit, man, that could have been such a different story if they can just stick it. But Wildcard, they keep the pressure up through the midst of that, right? Of course, there's that Azami coming through. But of course, there's the Amaru up through the hatch as well. But it doesn't seem to matter when the plant's going down. They trade out the Amaru, but the objective play is still so good from Wildcard.
Yeah, I really like this grapple hook play. I mean, again, they masked the sound. The Warden had absolutely no idea. I would have just liked Baby Shark to maybe pump the brakes there a little bit, not get over aggressive, because you know the bomb is going to go down, and you need as many bodies as you can, especially against DARKZERO, to make sure that they can't go for that retake.
What about Spiker, too, in the midst of that? I mean, the fact that he downs the Azami as the Kiba is coming out, if he's a second later on that, of course, there's no chance that he's able to get that frag, and it's a completely different post plant. So huge credit to Spiker. Of course, got the plant earlier in that one, too. Gains the lead now for Wildcard, something they desperately need on their own pick.
Yeah, and this looks like a read out of here from DARKZERO. They're at that point, they got the script. They know Wildcard wants to go for these fast takes, so they're going to just play a top hold here with the Warden and the Solus, so they are ready for any direct takes. But we see the weapon on a weapon. He's on Cali right now. Looking like he's going to go for the CCTV pick. Is J9O get a peek?
Hold your breath. Bay had the cojones to do it when he was facing the Kali as he stolen all that power from NJR.
He shot once, though, and now they know, right? Now it's going to be a game of chicken. You can't peek these angles.
Everything going to what you said. This will be a quick one. They're using so much utility on the side of Wildcard. Maybe they might get a read of their own. If DARKZERO responded saying, we're going to slow them down, we're going to bog them down, Wildcard might have to go back to the drawing board here, because after those calls were made, patience on their side.
It does look like plan B coming out. They were just trying to go for that CC pick early, but now a majority of the players on the radio side going for this jump in. They're just trying to clear top floor.
Oh, and they'll trade it out. Kanzi missing the golden opportunity as NJR doesn't realize how close he came to certain death. He'll realize it, though, as Fultz gets punished by Spiker, and NJR will have 2 lined up. They've immediately vacated the premises. Wildcard with the numbers advantage. So they change things, they make an adaptation, but it immediately works, and now Wildcard have this numbers advantage with half the round to go.
So clean to come through from Wildcard. Now they can just play with their food. They know the aggressive swings are gonna come out, so they just hold their angles. They're waiting for it. Not a moment there for Bay to grab it, but still hungry.
And again, I don't think DARKZERO can fall here. They're going to just try to play the aggressive fights, and there's the weapon.
Oh, J90 falters. Bay now looking for his 10th kill. This looks a little grim for DARKZERO. They seemed a little confident. Kino and Callout and the timeout basically said, like, they don't play this map. They're not very comfortable here. Well, this is discomfort. I'd hate to see what a comfortable Wildcard is able to do. NJR taking down Baby Shark now, but logic bombs are gone, so you would have just been a gun in hand. And I mean, you don't want to let Baby Shark warm up.
Two of the most clutch players in the game. They brought a 2v4 right down to a 2v2. Kino and NJR, two men you can never count out.
Kansan's got the Fenrir of NJR on the run. Good tracking on his position. Kino will take that major winning experience to the bank with 30 seconds to go. Spiker holding on to the case. No utility remaining, no flashes, no nades. Lion starved for that gadgetry. Kino will patrol from above, but I'm certain that they've heard this and they'll send Kansan in pursuit. Spiker will now get defused, get down. The Blackbeard being a great distraction. Kino will drop. He's not able to stop this one. Pulls out the shotgun in the corner. They have no idea, but Kansan is there for insurance. What a round from Wildcard.
I felt the caster curse coming. But thankfully, we have Jesse here who realized that NJR was still alive. That 4v2 quickly turned into a 2v2. And again, that was something I discussed with these guys right before the event is some of their problems is when they get that man advantage, they have the two IGLs that are kind of coming up with these ideas.
Right.
What do we do in the mid round? How do we end the round? And they just need to trust one.
Yeah, it really scary when that drop comes out in the 1v2. Of course, such a huge opportunity to come through from Kino. Didn't know where the plant was at first. It was only the shots of the Lion that gave him a bit of a clue, so that could have been even worse, but thankfully the trade was so quick to come right back out from the Blackbeard. A huge round from Kansan. He's had a couple of big clutch opportunities, has yet to really capitalize on them, but that 1v1 was probably the best one that he could have gotten. 5v3 now from Wildcard after that play. Again, Kino, no idea, figures it out at the last moment, but it's so quick the follow-up from Kansan, and now you can see the face of Lagonis. I mean, he's thrilled. He's so excited by this movement because they are now just 2 rounds away from map 3.
Yeah, not only Lagonis. I think the crowd might be waking up for Wildcard a little bit. There might be some hope we might be seeing a map 3.
I think they were chanting Hot and Cold's name, weren't they?
Well,
it is late in the day. Again, this is a potentially tired crowd as the first map began not 12 hours ago, but I mean, that's a long day for gamers. They're awake. Well, it's 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so most of them should be waking up about now.
Yeah, it looks like another adaptation, though, coming out from DARKZERO. We said maybe they don't know how to play the map, but this is a good sign right here because they're bringing the mirror, they're bringing the castle, they're bringing the Goyo. They're going to force Wildcard now. Instead of getting your free picks, we're going to be able to sit, trade on defense. You have to clear us out of these spots.
Yeah, it's a completely different defensive lineup coming through now from DZ, so they're really trying to change things up. They have a little bit more experience on border, so maybe you'd expect that to come through from them, forcing different ideas out from Wildcard, really testing this team, as you said. And so far, it's been a bit slow from Wildcard. They're doing a lot of droning. I like that the Twitch is being brought out by Baby Shark. This is an excellent counter both to the Goyo and to the Mira. The information, I mean, that might be the most valuable aspect of all.
Uh-oh, and you trap Bolts in the corner, and he loses the Mira window too. Huge value from the Frenchman, Baby Shark. A bit of frustration was shown on his face when that first drone got shot. The second one, far better, and the value that comes from just a small piece of this gadgetry. That will give Wildcard a bit of breathing room here. They're 2 for 2 on opening duels as attackers, but with 90 seconds to go, it's a quiet round. Nobody dead yet.
Still a little bit of utility being used out here. Baby Shark, he was the Amaru last time they attacked this site, so he's had big value both on those 2 rounds that they've had so far. Here's the top down now. You can start to see the picture. DZ spread across this top floor. They've got players in security. They've got players in break room. They've got players in east. So much map control still being held by DARKZERO. 75 seconds.
Yeah, and it looks like they got to try to get NJR out of the east air position. For him to still be here with 2 minutes and just throwing smokes now, I mean, Kansan has to take a fight into a smoke grenade.
I think they got him out in a casket.
It's Spiker with another.
One hive ready. That's 2 very fast kills as Wildcard pounce upon DARKZERO's offsite players. Newer's also suffering a beating, but so too of Baby Shark and Hot and Cold. Right now, the kills on the side of Wildcard spread out quite evenly. Bay leading the way, Kansan and Hot and Cold just steps behind. 9 kills in the hands of Newers, and he is still alive.
40 seconds. So scary at this moment, right? You have to do something if you're DARKZERO. You just don't have the numbers, but what can they do? Everybody on Wildcard safe around offense. They have to make a play.
Looking for an opening towards this A-bomb site. Newer still in this position. Good enough for one. Traded out as there's Hot and Cold getting his 9th. J90 and Kino now far enough back to welcome in this advance from Wildcard. Kansan holding the defuse kit. The welcoming committee, though, they're a mean bunch. And J90 might be greeted with some hostility. He tears through Hodden, misses out on Kansan. He's dropped Spiker, but there's the weapon, the secret weapon to send Wildcard to map point.
Oh, if only he knew. Oh, if only he knew where the plant was going down, Mint.
I'm glad he didn't know. I'm glad he didn't know. Matt asking right now for a timeout. Maybe we're going to see one from call out possibly here. I mean, it's 6-3, probably. I was a little worried how slow that attack was. Again, trying to get Nick out of a power position after wasting 2 minutes, but it worked out. Kansan, the veteran player, making a great play, running through the smoke grenade triple. And Spiker with another frag, and then they had the time to, once you get East Stairs, you're either going to go Office or CC side. They chose Office with the Habana. No mute on board. It was a great call.
Wind Bastion bans, by the way. Don't like the uniforms, and then we say, you know, we don't like Nomad or Kaid either. If the timeout was called for, it will not arrive. We will go into a very important round for DARKZERO. Gentlemen, I know you were exceptionally skeptical of this border pick, but this is why we talk about the game. Because guess what? We were skeptical, but it looks like Wildcard maybe knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I was skeptical. I mean, I almost thought it was desperation. Like their map pools just didn't really quite align. They tried to take them to some more comfortable maps for them, like Labs, the last time they played, and it just didn't work out because DZ's really good at these structured default maps, having 4 support players on their team, right? Now we're taking them to border where it really doesn't kind of fit their playstyle. Maybe Laguna saw something the last time that they played Shopify. The reason they lost 3-7 as well, and I think right now it's looking like a great call.
Whoa.
Good information. And again, this is showing more familiarity with the map of border. Like, sure, this is just a drone, but so far the pushes have looked really good from Wildcard. The way they've been able to put together different aspects against different defenses. DARKZERO have done a great job showing many different looks to Wildcard, as we've highlighted, but it doesn't seem to matter. You'd be forgiven not thinking that DARKZERO weren't the #1 attacking team in the tournament after this map, because Wildcard have been flawless through 3.
And they've gotten first blood in all of those. When DZ rode that second side of attack back on Clubhouse, they struck first every single round, and that momentum carried them to a victory. Wildcard are now in the exact same position, 3 for 3 on these opening duels, and they're hoping that momentum will net them the same result that DZ was greeted with back on Clubhouse. If that is the case, and DARKZERO are unable to push us to overtime, Cafe will await us as a 3rd map. And of course, gentlemen, I expect a 3-mapper on our final series of the day. They're in the site, Baby Shark, floundering as Fultz gets torn through. Diffuse kit going down, though. They sacrifice the Frenchman, and Blood for the Blood God has paid off for the time being. Nitro Cell gets out, picked back up by Fultz. Spikers died too. 35 seconds remain. DARKZERO still have every player up, but Wildcard are locked in this post plant. They'll look with the Monty on the board, hot and cold on that very familiar shield operator. Bay trying to waste as much time. Can DARKZERO get on there? No, there goes Bay. Hot and cold looking to smoke Fultz. The Kiva barrier destroyed. Good coverage so far. Fultz on it, and we will go one more round. Really nice play by DARKZERO with the kid on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really smart call from Wildcard, actually. It was actually a fake. Matt was Montaigne ticking east. They opened up the passport wall as well and had everyone on DARKZERO convinced that they was just going to be a normal east take. But what actually happened, they went for that sight hit with the blitz jumping through the window, the Candelas, the Thatcher for any C4s and smokes. Really good call, really good fake. However, they lost too many bodies. That is a hard retake to go against an Azami.
It's another little pocket strat, and how many times have we seen this out of Wildcard today, right? They started things off with the Omaru jump up the hatch, plant with the Dokkaebi. I mean, they've got a lot of these little fake plant strategies that you highlighted just at the start of the half, Mint. But at some point, these ideas start to get predictable, right? At some point, DARKZERO starts to read into things. They weren't able to deny the plant despite having all that utility, Toxic Babes, Impact, C4s, but they didn't need it. They were able to find so many of those frags, and you start to wonder, do DARKZERO have the read at this point? Have they figured it out exactly what Wildcard are trying to do on a lot of these game plans? It's only one round, but I don't want to sound the alarm just yet, but man, Wildcard not good enough in round number 9. 10.
Yeah, that's a great point. And honestly, I would like Wildcard probably just go back to some defaults here, right? Let's not just try to cheese the whole time. I know we're up 6-3. You got a couple rounds to throw away. Why not? You just threw one way. Let's go for an easy take. We got Spiker on the ace. We got Habana. Looks like we're going to try to open up some walls and clear some of these guys out of their positions.
Calm things down a little bit. Go by the book. You don't have to get crazy every single round. Vents workshop, of course, with our site. So plenty of top floor presence to try to clear through. Kino on this Solus might be a bit of a difficult position over inside of Armory. They've got a couple different players here locking down the top floor. Kino alongside J90 and NJR. The triple-digit letters coming through to try to support this top floor roam. And Kino with this information, he sees all these drones just scurrying around on the roof, maybe playing the skylight too.
Wildcard clearly having a bigger budget for the names. Letters were too expensive on the side of DARKZERO. There goes Bay at the hands of J90 as he will now escape through that hatch, linking up with Newers. On the bottom floor on that electrified jail wall. Suffering early deaths for Wildcard now after they were the ones to strike first. This is not a good look, and it is a bit of a worrying sign. The alarm bells might be getting a little louder, Jesse.
Yeah, they're starting to ring a little bit, Parker. Here comes the entry from Wildcard into the map. East stairs under their control. Of course, still, you got faults down below to try to apply some pressure, but these players with their phones ringing, their positions will be known. And all of a sudden, this space is getting really small for DZ.
Yeah, I mean, and that was Bay just walking down the hallway, by the way, like over 2 minutes. I wonder if he had that same cam in CC and just saw a play and they sent the weapon at him, but didn't work out. We're now going to have to see a little bit of a pivot here. I think they're going to have to go for some of these top floor picks.
Weapons misfire. It happens. It's gun jammed. I don't know.
Still hoping for one of these players to wander into a crossfire. Wildcard, they have to get more aggressive than this. They have to be the ones to force the play. That's why the flashbang comes out. Lots of damage on Kino, but no follow-up.
He's not blinded. Oh, maybe he is. Maybe some remedial aim training for Hodden. No, he'll break double digits on that one. Kansan was right there with him. Kino doesn't do any damage to either of these players on Wildcard, and with 1 minute to go, back to a stalemate in numbers, 4v4. It's a good clear on the top floor, though. This is Wildcard's portion of the map. But those nitro cells can be your undoing, and Spiker will learn that the hard way.
It's a good clear, but they don't have any Verdops. Obviously, this was plan B, so it's going to be a really tough execute. They can't clear anyone out of vents. They already lost somebody to a C4. What's going to be the answer here?
A mighty good question, and not a lot of time with Wildcard holding that defuse kit, but now having to go to the bomb sites. Kansan knows there's a follow-up too, in fact, but he can't hit them, and the drop is not good enough. 1 round separating these two. The comeback very real. The alarms blaring on the side of Wildcard as DZ push us to round 12.
Cafe at one point seemed like an inevitability, and now it's a huge question mark. DARKZERO rally with 2 straight.
Hello. Listen, look at here, okay? They can go armory or customs, correct? If they go customs, let's play direct bomb site. They're playing a little bit to leave, that you guys just said, right? So if you guys saw the opportunity to kill the guy in workshop, kill him, okay? But keep him working direct bomb site. Even if they make borders on bomb site, take a look if there's any gaps. We can spread a little bit, go Mortelius, etc. What do you think, armory, guys? Let's do the loud direct bomb site again. Hot and cold, play the ace. Play this of his spike, okay? Destroy the goals, open the FK all normal. And one thing for you, Sharkon, enter Mortelius is gonna walk the easy stairs. If you guys kill the armor guy, like, let's suppose, he's pushing, like, Archives don't kill the armor guy, already planted the bomb right there. Let's abuse the gap of the kill.
What about me on the loud?
If you don't get the kill, you can play normal with
why am I ace?
Ace for after, if we slow down, we open the radar wall. Okay, you're gonna radar wall. So, or we're gonna get the kill and plant the bomb, or we're gonna...
Yeah, interesting. I mean, kind of getting cute with it. I would kind of like them to simplify it a little bit. I mean, Lagona's some good ideas. Armory, maybe we can just do a little bit of a book swap. Kill the armory player, go fast, plant the bomb. Or he's going to put hot and cold on the ace. Maybe they don't get that pick. They at least have a plan B. They're able to pivot off it and use the ace to start opening up some of these power positions and don't let the defenders hide. But again, I'd really just like them maybe even just bring like a Montaigne and let's just start slowly working some of these picks out.
Well, this is kind of the problem too. You call a pocket strat for the bomb site that you expect to come out, and then what happens? DARKZERO say, nope, we're not going to let you plan for that. We're going to go to a bomb site you will not have come to expect. Customs and supply. This is the same trick that Wildcard played. After DZ's tack timeout, Wildcard threw a curveball, said we're going to play the 4th site on this map. DZ have the exact same trick up their sleeve.
Well, it is pretty typical for after a timeout to go to that 4th bomb site, but Lagonas did actually say if they do go customs, normally there's going to be a guy in workshop. They want him to go direct at this site, work the guy in workshop, and then see if you can just keep working direct, maybe planting some smokes, and they have a lot of them here.
The mind of a good coach to be able to find multiple different opportunities, know what the defense could go for, so it's not going to fully catch them off guard, even if it wasted a little bit of that talk timeout.
I'm just astonished at how fast he's able to spit that information out. I think I'm a pretty quick talker, but I feel out of breath listening to him. I really need up my cardio.
These Brazilian coaches, they sure know how to spit information.
Yeah. I have to focus. Like, I'm just looking down, just trying to think. What are they saying?
Yeah.
Too much stimuli makes it hard to understand. If DARKZERO ultimately win this, we go to overtime. Wildcard prevail, we go to Cafe. Either way, FaZe Clan will be the opponent for these teams tomorrow. So the Brazilians yet to drop a map through this entire event. The defending two-time world champions. They love these teams beating the stuffing out of each other. And the more maps that these teams play, the more they will have to prep for tomorrow's game. And you know they best be feeling mighty comfortable no matter which NA team it is.
Worry about the Nitro, they got it. Don't worry about it. It was EMP'd, but there's a timer on the EMP, so it gets shot. This has been a real nightmare of a util game over on the jail wall, Mint. I mean, they've been really trying to get this wall open since the round began, and still no luck.
Yeah, this is really difficult. I mean, we're trying to go for a direct take into a bandit tube, which is probably, I don't even know if that's the right call, but they are seeing, like, Hot & Cold's on the Ying. If they do get this wall open, there isn't any Warden or really any vision ops. So a direct call could be really good here.
Well, they wasted almost, well, more than half the round, really, but they finally get the wall open. Tubrow cannot delay the entire 3 minutes, thank God. But still, with all of that time, DZ have been able to hold on to the top floor. There's not really any map control help by Wildcard.
Look at how active this is. The Nitro cell goes out. J9O is lined up for another. Fultz will go down at the hands of Hot & Cold. Wildcard fighting for their lives. They do not want overtime to befall them, but DARKZERO have other ideas. Jail opened up. Now, next steps for Wildcard, just under a minute to go.
Looking for one of these opportunities still. The drone information's been solid from Wildcard, but these players up above have yet to really been dealt with. There's been no attention paid to J9O, no attention paid to these top floors. He is alone up here, but even still, if he can get a vert play, that could be so critical to end the round.
You worry about stalling out for Wildcard. They've sputtered a little bit over the last couple rounds, taking their foot off the gas. There's J9O. Shark hunting. The spear will go through. Bay now getting defused. Kid down. Candelas go off to obscure it. Bay at the halfway point. Nitro cell goes out. It's good. DARKZERO just bought themselves some serious time, but Kansan shuts down Newers. Now Kansan sustaining serious damage. There goes Houghton. Kansan knows it's a done deal. DZ win 3 of their own, and we go to extra innings.
It can never be easy between these two NA Titans. DARKZERO will not allow Wildcard to escape in regulation. 6-6, and it all comes down to the util game, the stall, and that 1v1 top floor. What a round.
Yeah, you said at the stall with the bandit and the Tubrow, like, that's what worries me sometimes with these real strategic coaches is, do we have like the thinking power, the IGL power in-game, or the freedom in-game to kind of make a different call from what we're seeing from the operators? Because to me, the top player is probably looking like maybe a better option here instead of wasting 2 minutes at the site. He also wanted them to work the workshop pick. They never even had enough time to look over there because they were worried about the wall the whole time. They were susceptible to that C4 out the window, which is something we were doing on DZ like 4 years ago, by the way, that we're still not ready for. It just has me a little bit worried. And this is all after Hot & Cold was asking DARKZERO to call a timeout when they were up 6-3, and they haven't won a round after that. That's karma.
I mean, I hate to say his name, but a lot of this really does get down to Baby Shark being shut down so effectively by DARKZERO. Now, it's hard to gauge whether it's you falling short of your own expectations or your opponents just simply having your number. But for a guy who came in as the best player on this roster, he is a point ahead of Spiker for worst in the entire lobby.
That's exactly right, Parker. I mean, they've relied on Baby Shark to get to this point here, top 8 in the playoffs. He was on pace before this game to have the best career, or the best event of his career. 111 EPS, plus 18 coming into this, but if he can't find some way to dig deep, if he can't perform for his team on the biggest stage, it's not worth it in the end.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he just went up against DZ and an NA regional farming team. And they're actually going to be going for the weapon here in security.
Newers having a sensational outing so far. We come to expect that from a player of his caliber. 12 kills in map 1. He's matched that tally now here on border, plenty of time for him to amass even more, as we will get 2 more rounds, potentially a third. Unlimited OT is not on the board here, so one of these teams will ultimately prevail in the next 10 minutes.
First to 8 on border. The first 60 seconds of this overtime have gone without too much impact, but here comes a play from Bay.
And the run around, but he misses the opportunity. They've got him dead to rights. Suddenly, Baby Shark will swim into uncharted waters. Kino holding down the fort, buying as much time as possible. Baby Shark looking for the follow-up over towards the break room area. Bay doing double duty now, dancing around these nades. Kino will land it, blowing Bay sky high. They'll find another. Goodbye to Kansan. DARKZERO firing up the war machine.
You got Fultz already walking toward sight, but thank goodness for Baby Shark.
Suddenly Hot and Cold's on the board as well. NJR will shut down the Shark. DARKZERO still with the advantage here. These teams coming to blows with plenty of time left in the round.
It's the IGLs again. The brain power on the team. Can it also be the clutch power? We said Hot and Cold's one of the most clutch players at this event. Can he make magic happen again in overtime?
Information seems good for DARKZERO, though. So much time to play with in Kino. He's been excellent on the Blackbeard today, trying to take this space towards the top floor. J90 firing off to find these frags. They force them back. No kills just yet. 55 seconds. This continues to tick.
I think Spiker might have one here. I don't think they have the information on him, like we're saying. I don't see anyone on drones for DZ. We're just kind of watching at the moment. Looks like J90. Oh, there's actually a drone behind him. Oh, I think he might have heard him.
They seem to have the read, maybe not. And the drop immediately follows the kill. Diffuse kit not in the hands of either remaining DARKZERO player. The brain trust, as you called them, Spiker and Hot and Cold. Right now on 19 kills, Hot and Cold leading the way on his team. He does not want this to be the end of this major, though he didn't think he would make it here. What a performance it's been. A 13th kill for Matthew Stevens. Who will find J90? How about Matthew Stevens again? A huge round from Wildcard, and they stave off defeat for the time being, going up back to match point.
The captain and the substitute, the 2 IGLs staying alive, and straight to the text chat, lost in the sauce.
Oh, why are we aura farming right now, Hot and Cold? We were up 6-3. Just close it out, please.
Start to worry in moments like this, but you also got to keep the vibes up, right? I mean, you've kind of thrown this lead already. You're worried about how that round was going. It should have been a DZ round. Kino, I thought, was excellent in this position with the Blackbeard. Got that nade frag, of course, early on to that security player, was taking really good space, but it was that mid-round frag from Baby Shark and then Hot and Cold and Spiker. Really the duo. You wouldn't expect the chemistry, as they've not really played together in the past, but this event, they've shown all of the coordination in the world.
I will say this, never having been a player, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, one of the greatest things that I have heard from players, and one thing that I've observed myself, is how easy it is to play around Hot and Cold. He can flourish on a support role, he can flourish on shields, he can flourish on IGL, and you can make him frag if he needs to. And I imagine that's quite the boon here for this Wildcard.
You're setting me up to glaze him again. I mean, this is insane. Yeah.
That's why we brought you on here.
Yeah, I mean, Hot and Cold, like, we put him on Thermite when he was 18, but he's always been a fragger, right? The Ash main from California with the ping advantage way back in the day. Like,
yes,
he can frag if he needs to. 14 kills. I mean, could you ask for a better super sub right now? This is actually insane.
No, this is exactly what they needed out of Hot and Cold. He has shown up big time for his temporary team here at the Salt Lake City Major, but still, they need one more round in order to force us on to Cafe. We've gone to bathroom and tellers. This is the bomb site where we saw Wildcard go for that crazy rush. They can't do that again. If they try it once more, it'll easily be read by DZ, so it's got to be a different approach. Starting on the west side, going to try to clear some of these positions over towards Jail, over towards Archives. They've got different opportunities to get into the map, but there's problems up on the top floor. You've got NJR East, you've got Kino inside of Office, you've got Fultz inside of Lockers. I mean, so many players on the top floor to deal with, so what's the game plan for Wildcard?
No distinct advantage here with attackers or defenders. 3-3 halves across the board to get us to this point, so it really is a coin toss here.
Yeah, I mean, this just looks like they're just trying to do that same pool strategy right now. Hot and Cold outside the window with the sense, just kind of baiting that same take with opening the passport wall. But we actually have Spiker outside of Customs, maybe more looking for a horizontal take. Customs is completely free. I mean, Newers is kind of looking to retake it right now. might be reading into this.
He's really worried about being picked off. There goes Hot and Cold to Fultz. The blitz of Spiker is in, off to the races. They found an exploit. There's a path to the bomb site. And Baby Shark wins the duel against Newers. Spiker hoping for enough coverage. He's had to peel off the defuse kit twice now. Bay taking some serious damage. It's an absolute brawl. Nobody right now coming out ahead. NJR will take down Cans, and Spiker still here, languishing, breathing in that gas. He's not long for this earth. Baby Shark in a 1v3, looking to make some noise, but DARKZERO are locking down the bomb site. They have control of the case. It doesn't have any utility left, just throwing out the last flashbang, and it's NJR to shut us down. A single round will determine whether we have a third map or a victor in DARKZERO.
It was a great response out of DARKZERO. They retook cat control. They actually kind of right into that. Newers unfortunately lost the fight. That was a big fight to Baby Shark right there. I thought that was the round winner, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it was the Fenrir that retook cat. He didn't have any, Spiker didn't have any cover. He couldn't plant the bomb. He couldn't plant the case, so he sat there waiting to see if they can make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the chaos in the site. They didn't even know Spiker's position. One player was smoking him, the other had his back to him. It was not a clean round for DARKZERO, but you know what? They don't ask how. All that matters is that we're headed straight towards round 15. And this is that play from Jan, I know, retaking Catwalk, just as you were saying, Mint, so critical to grab that control in, but also around the bomb site. DARKZERO maybe a little bit more comfortable on border, and it's showing at the final hour.
I will say, when Wildcard defended all the way back 30 minutes ago in those first 6 rounds, they won on Armory twice. They won Bathroom Tellers once. The only bomb site that they won here in overtime was a completely different site. So they have options at their disposal. Where they want to go is really up to them, and they're going to go to Bathroom Tellers. So how did it go? All the way back in round number 3, they persevered. Bay with the clutch after Kino got diffuser down. Ultimately a very good round for Wildcard, but that was ages ago. That might as well have been a whole other map ago. Are they going to be able to learn from that? Will we see 3 consecutive Defender victories? If that ends up unveiling, we go to Cafe and we need one more map.
No matter what the circumstance, round 15 always demands a hero, and I gotta say, since mentioning his name, Baby Shark has really stepped it up here on border. He has had some critical frags in the mid-round, both rounds of overtime so far. If he can be the difference maker, he's playing Warden on site, so might not be super involved early, but watch out for these high-impact players on Wildcard. This is a team who have made deep run after deep run after deep run at so many events in the past. One more is so close to them here.
Yeah, I'm worried again. A lot of fast plays. This is going to be basically what Wildcard just did.
They saw it and they liked it very much, so they're going to go in. Gas being breathed in by this DARKZERO team. The Warden emerges. Hunt with Commando Pro lunging. Aquino bolts down as well. The Shark hunted by Newers. Han Cold sustaining some damage. Inside the site, they're tossing for control. This tug of war between the teams. And there might be a brief ceasefire now as things slow down. Bay might be dead, but we are in the eye of the storm.
Spiker, opportunity top E, sees the head, but he doesn't hit the shot! NJR is better and man advantage for DARKZERO.
Who put him on Ash?
It's the right call, it would seem. NJR and Newers.
He forward him?
No
Doing
way.
well, Hun's down, Kansan will need to clutch out. If this is the end, it's been one hell of a run from this Wildcard team playing with a sub. And it sure does seem like this is it. NJR will get the 1-2 punch. The major winner on home soil sends DARKZERO to the semifinals. Darkness is your ally? That's lights out DZ, isn't it? 2-0 for them as they move on.
What a statement match from DARKZERO against their regional opponents. They've beat them so many times in the past. 13-1 record here, but so much to play for. They let their entire heart out on the stage, and Mint, you gotta feel bad for these wildcard guys. They played so well just to get here.
Played so well, and on their map pick up 6-3. Plenty of potential to bring up any of those rounds and close them out, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, again, they had a sub for this tournament. It's not like they're gonna go and pick those rounds apart.
Yeah.
They had a hell of a tournament. The underdog story was almost there.
And you see the respect being shown once again. Hot and Cold and Kino, they lifted the hammer together 6 months ago in Munich, but it won't be together here. Only one could move on, and today it's Kino.
Well, North America will have 2 teams in the semifinals, so there will be much to cheer for as we move on. Wildcard was really hoping that Adrian's visa would clear in time. They waited, they waited, they waited. Alas, for no reason. it was not able to be done. Hot and Cold stepped into a tough situation and ignoring all the M80 stuff in the background, what a performance it was from him to try and make this as close as possible. But DZ just loves their all-NA matchups. The last time that a North American team made the grand finals on home soil, it was this squad. Maybe different players, but this organization that took home a trophy, and Mint, you were a key part of that. DZ still very much in the running, and tomorrow they will play up against the two-time defending world champions in FaZe Clan.
It's only going to get harder here at the Salt Lake City Major, but that's exactly what they signed up for. DARKZERO, a huge roster change coming into the season, and it's paid off so far.
We know it was a long day, but it was an exciting day, and let's cap it off with Kino on stage.
Thank you very much, Parker. DARKZERO are semi-finalists here in Salt Lake City. Kino, that was a crazy map too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we love the 7-7s. Those are the best ones.
You do love them, and I'm getting the impression that you're really enjoying playing in a DARKZERO jersey. How much you enjoying being a part of this roster?
Oh, I love it. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. I like the full black fit, even socks, no shoes. It's wonderful out here.
Now, what I love about this as well, we are literally just a matter of meters away from your mum and dad who are watching. Can we just make some noise for mum and dad down here? Are you enjoying it? Does it give any more pressure? Is it amazing to play in front of them?
Yeah, first time I'm playing in front of my dad. My girlfriend's also here somewhere. And yeah, feels good. Feels good to win in front of them. We'll see what happens.
You obviously lifted a major trophy not that long ago, alongside Hot and Cold. You just had to shake his hand and wave him off. Was there any emotion there?
No, that's my boy. End of the day.
Yep.
Yep.
And can you see yourself raising another trophy here? Because to do it, tomorrow, first things first, you need to beat arguably the best team in the world in FaZe Clan.
I'll be honest, I'm not really thinking about that. We're just playing the game in front of us. Don't care about the trophy, don't care about FaZe, don't care about anything, we're just playing.
Cannot wait to see you in action once again tomorrow. Great to see you. Well done. Big up mum and dad and the girlfriend as well. Kino goes to join the rest of his teammates. DARKZERO are in the semi-finals.